Here we go. It takes a minute to think. Got it. All right, I'll pause that. There we go. All right, everybody. Hello, everybody, and welcome. This is the Southwest Florida TechNet. My name's Ian, KO4EFS, and I'm broadcasting tonight from North Fort Myers, Florida. We are on Zoom in an open public meeting. If you'd like to join us, just go to our website, www.swfltech.net, and you can join us live. If you're watching us later on YouTube or watching us live on YouTube, thank you for joining us, and we hope that you get something from the broadcast tonight. Tonight, we're going to be joined by Dallas, and for DDM, he is from, you're up near Atlanta, aren't you?
Yes, just east of Atlanta in Loganville. It's in Gwinnett County.
Can I honestly say, it reminds me one time you were Dallas, you came in as Dallas, and my mind just assumed you were from Texas. And it was funny because one day you said, yeah, I'm just outside of Atlanta. And it reminded me, I don't know why, but it reminded me of that line in Forrest Gump where he's like, and there's Nashville and he's from Tennessee. And he finally said, he said, there's Houston. I'm not sure where he's from. But it was just, it was a funny line because it just reminded me of that funny line. And I love that movie, Forrest Gump. It's one of my favorite movies. Anyway, there's Joseph, he's popping up, and we got Larry popping in, and Ken and Jonathan, and of course, Rick and Dave. So we got a lot of folks coming in tonight. I do appreciate it. And we've got several already joining us over on YouTube, where we have 217 subscribers. Now, 300 is kind of a benchmark. So we're really looking over the next month or so to get that number up over 300. The reason we're not getting more than 50 or 75 or 100 views, with the exception of a few of Joseph's videos, because they're really good. The reason we're only getting, by the way, Joseph's got a video now with like 2,500 views or something. Mine is crazy. That one he did about the little internet radio is doing really, really well. And that particular video is sought after on the internet right now. So that's good. And it's helping our algorithms, and we're getting some subscriptions off of it. So we're going to be doing more of those video shorts. And I want to open it up to you guys. If you want to do video shorts that we will feature on our YouTube channel, you just shoot the thing and send it to me. You can shoot it with any webcam, anything, send it to me in whatever format. I don't care. I'll throw it on our YouTube channel, and I will put a description with it and everything and give you credit for it in there. And I'd love to do that. We're looking for content for this channel because content equals subscribers, subscribers equals viewers, and we get a much bigger footprint out here. It's difficult when only 0.02% of the population or something is a ham radio operator. So we have a very small audience to begin with. And when you consider that probably 2 out of 3 license holders are inactive, that's a horrible statistic that we can't do anything about, unfortunately. We can try, but it's going to be difficult. So we have such a small audience that we've got to do everything we can. So I'm just asking you guys to subscribe, like the videos, view them for a little while, send them to your friends. If you're with other groups, maybe send our stuff out through the groups. The newsletter this week was really good. I put a lot of time into the newsletter this week. There's some great articles in there. And so I hope you guys had a chance to take a look at that. If we have time at the end, of course, we'll go through it. There is a couple of highlights that I wouldn't mind mentioning from the thing. Before we get started. Number one, NOAA's predicting an above normal hurricane season for 2022. I think everybody kind of already knows that. It's official now. It's 20-30% more busier. That's great English. It's greatly more busier this year than it's going to be normally. And so we need to just be even more prepared than normal, I think. And that goes for anybody, even for people in Texas that aren't named Dallas. They need to watch out too. Anywhere in the Gulf Coast, we've got that loop current through the Gulf right now, and it's going to be going through season. Plus, we've got the La Nina, whatever the setup is, and we are just looking at a season and a half. So there you go. The lightning and the rain patterns are turning to Southwest Florida. We're going to be more in an August pattern over the next 10 days. So starting tomorrow, you're probably going to see some thunderstorms again in the area. So minor geomagnetic storms, the sun's becoming more and more and more active, and that's so awesome to see. I love to see when the sun is getting more, because as a new ham, I started at the very bottom of the solar cycle, and now I'm getting to work it all the way to the top, and so that's going to be really cool. When I started, the solar fluxes were all down in the 70 and 80 range, and now we're seeing them in the hundreds every single day. So it's already a lot better than it was when I started.
This is our own version of surfing. We're riding the wave.
There you go. There you go. And we're definitely with an 11-year cycle. I mean, that's a long curve. We're not used to things being on that long of a curve. Heil is just rebranded. They've split their brand in two. They're still owned by the same company though, but they're splitting things up between their professional equipment and their amateur equipment. And they're actually going to have like basically an amateur division with their own website for amateurs. So that's going to be kind of cool. Heil makes some of the best equipment you can get. Let's see, the ham convention's on for Xenia, Ohio. It's been down for 2 years. It's back. So
Last week.
whatever you want to call it, the COVID, the hypochondria, whichever side you're on, it's about over, hopefully. Let's see here. And one other thing I wanted to mention, we've been talking on here about the encryption of police channels and how it's got scanner listeners all over the world, all over the country, pretty pissed off. These law enforcement agencies are scrambling their signal. Now, it's one more piece of transparency that we're losing out here. That's for another show. I'm not going to talk about that. But what I do want to mention to you guys is a California lawmaker, a state congressman, I believe, has actually created a law and pushed it through. And it looks like it's going to pass. It's going to make law enforcement unscramble all their radio channels in California. And I think this hopefully will catch on in the age of transparency that we're kind of coming into. I think we're going to see some big moves in areas of transparency, especially after what's happened in Texas now. And I'm not going to discuss that here. God bless those people, though. I tell you, it's a nightmare.
Who's putting that up?
What?
Oh, it's gone now.
Somebody drew a dick.
Yeah.
That's just
That's
wonderful.
enough to say. Don't give them any. Give them any attention.
Yeah, well, that's all right. I'm going to go ahead and make Rick and Joseph and Dallas.
Wait, what happened?
If you guys need to kick somebody, kick them.
What happened?
You're allowed to come in here and participate as much as you want, but we don't do the whole heckling thing. That's we're
What?
professionals
You
in
don't
here.
put,
Yeah. So
What happened? Somebody used the whiteboard? Or
Oh,
something?
somebody, some 12-year-olds in here putting up pictures of penises. Thank you very much. I've got one. I can just use the mirror. All right. Let's see. Give me a break. Whatever. It's funny for about 8 seconds. All right, it's over. Anyway, whatever.
I agree.
I don't know if it even made it on YouTube, but whatever. It doesn't matter. I'll probably get kicked off of YouTube for 12 days and have the disinformation people on my ass. It wasn't the right size or something. All right. Anyway, so anyway, I'm just kidding.
That girl probably doesn't know what one looks like.
Yeah. So let's just move on here. So that the reason I bring that up is because if you guys have got the newsletter this week, you'll see in there that I've got I've got all the information you need to do the something in my something new to try segment. I think a lot of you guys have already done this, but I've got the whole SDR trunk information in here again for you. This is something I hooked up. I used a 2-meter VHF antenna with a magnet mount on the roof of the shed, and I can pick up like 3 different trunk systems on it. And it picks up every communication in Lee County except law enforcement because they're encrypted. And it even shows you it's picking it up, but that it's encrypted.
Yeah.
But this shows you everything you need to know and the program and everything in here. And I got to tell you something, it's a really nice program, considering it works out of the box. Everybody's always like, I don't want to do that. That looks complicated. And I really don't care that much. This is a real fun thing to play with. You throw it in your computer, you put your SDR sharp in, you hook it up to any old antenna outside the shack, go to radio reference, find the control frequency for your county or your city's system, pop it in there, and literally it goes. You can watch a little 3-minute tutorial. If enough people want, I'll be glad to come on here and do a full tutorial on it. But I just wanted to bring that up because
Does it
it's
only require one dongle or two?
it requires one dongle, provided that the spacing's not too much between the control channel and the operating channels. If all of it falls within the, it's like 3 megahertz or whatever. If it all falls within the spacing that the STR RTL can handle, then it will do it all with one dongle. And you can actually plug in like 4 different dongles, put in 4 different control frequencies, and have each dongle doing its own system. Another neat thing it does, it gives you audio in the left and right ear, which you can turn off if you don't like. But what that is so you don't miss anything. It gives you transmission in the left. And then if another transmission starts, it puts it in the right ear. And so you're hearing 2 things at once, which is pretty cool. In 2 ears, you can discern the difference. It's pretty cool. So anyway, it's a really neat program if you haven't played with it. And what's neat about it is like, if I go to Nashville, I pop this up, I go to radio reference, I type the number in, I hit go, and I'm listening to their entire system. It's amazing. It's a lot easier than the old days where you had to print off the sheet of all the frequencies for that town, and then when you get there, you program them in your scanner.
Yeah, tenfold.
It's not like that anymore. So anyway, that's what's nice about that. And if the if you guys want to try it, if you need any help or anything, just get with Joseph Fry, because we both have done this and it works great. Okay, any questions on that before we move on, or anything so far? Okay, we're gonna have the WatchNet back next week. We're gonna be back up on the node. We had one more issue with the box we're gonna fix tomorrow. The next day, I'm gonna run by Rick's house and have some more soldering done. I think this thing got beat up in the mail.
Here we go.
But anyway,
Get rid of
Yeah,
it.
another one of our audio. Oh,
We need to get rid of it.
Who's Bill Smith?
yeah, is that the best you can do? Does anybody know who that is?
It said
You know
it
what
was
people
from
do?
Bill Smith.
no, I know what's going on. People scour around on the internet looking for live Zoom links, and then they record themselves going in and screwing with the live Zoom. So it's not like anybody we
mature.
know. It's just a random person who's found it and is going to come in.
Is it the name that starts with S down here?
No, it was Bill Smith, but he got deleted. Did you remove him, or did he remove himself, or what? I don't know.
I think somebody did. That's
He had
fine.
his name Svetlana for a minute.
Okay, well, as long as you guys feel free to remove, I don't care. Just get rid of them.
How do you do
I
that?
allow free speech if you guys want to talk, but only free speech on what we're talking about. I'm not going to get in here and get into a political discussion or talk about religion or get into borrowing money. I mean, we're going to talk about ham radio stuff, and you guys can talk as long and as much as you want about it. But I can't. I think that's pretty childish. But whatever. I don't want to close these meetings, so we're going to continue to just put up with it.
Let's see if we can.
All right. It's only like the 3rd time it's happened. Luckily, most of these children find video games eventually. Okay, so let's move on from that. All right, tonight what we're going to be talking about, and tonight my co-host is Dallas and for DDM, and also of course Joseph KM4OVZ. And tonight we're going to be talking about repeater ranges and how to plot these on a map. And after Dallas gets done showing you this really cool program that I'm going to be using after tonight, I'm sure. He's going to show you how to plot the ranges, and I'm going to let him explain all that because he knows more than I do what it's all about. I sent him some information over the last few days, and he's plotted a few of our repeaters down here, so we'll be able to check that out. So Dallas, I'll go ahead and turn it over to you, and if you need me for anything, I'm right here.
All right, I need to have the screen.
You have it.
Oh, here we go with
All right. Is that being shown?
No, because
Go,
Mr.
do it again. And I'm going to
Share screen. That one. Share.
Okay, only the host can share when someone else is sharing. So once you share, we'll be good. Okay,
Yeah.
go ahead.
Okay.
All right, we're locked in now.
All right, can y'all see that your map with the circles on it?
Uh-huh.
Is that a yes?
Yeah, we
Yep,
see that.
did. See it
Okay,
just fine.
so what prompted me to do this was um, you sent out this on how to do those kind of circles or draw circles around your QTH for like range rings on a radar. Well, that's useful, but you don't know what the real range of a repeater is. So this software that I'm going to show you, and I put a link to it in the chat, so you don't have to remember this crazy URL. And that did change, correct? Y'all now see the website I'm going to be using?
If you guys see
Yeah,
that, just
yeah.
go to your chat. He's put the link right in the chat, and you can click on it right in the chat. It'll bring it up in a new screen.
Okay.
Yeah, I got it.
But all right, well, don't watch that while I'm trying to show you this stuff. But y'all now see the screen of the website?
Yes, we do.
Okay. All right. So I made a bogus call and a login for this thing here, and this thing's all in somewhat French and somewhat English, and the guy's from Canada, so you have to bear with it a little bit. Okay. So I've all right, let's get that thing out of the way. Ian gave me this long list of repeaters. Everything for this website does things in height and meters. So I added a column, and the ones done in red, I did. The rest of them, it takes a while to find these things, and we'll go through some of that. But let's get back to the login. So I
Is that a
created
CSV?
a Lee County Justice Center at 122 meters, and so where do I want to go? I want to go back to the main menu. I can view the coverage. Let me show you what the coverages I've done are. You can look at that one. You've got this repeater here, the one over at Cape Coral, and or
You know, the Cape
Coral, I
Coral
should
one
say.
has relocated, didn't you?
Okay, now the beauty of this, if you know where it's at, and we want to, I can, and you know it's new height, I can edit all that stuff, and I can move it.
Yeah, it's actually was like moved like last week, I think.
Yeah,
So,
it's moved to the Cape
y'all help
Coral
me out.
Hospital. However, I do not know the height.
Remember these three. I know that one of them was 220, and you got those three. I wanted to show you the real world plot of those. So let me go back to return to main menu, multiple coverages. I think that one, and that one are those three. And if I submit that, what you have real world plot looks like that. It doesn't
Wow.
look like those three little circles. They're,
Whoa.
Yeah, I like this.
you know,
Gives you a good
That's
idea.
amazing.
you know, and all right. And then here's the hardest part of this whole thing. You see that button right there? You ought to put a piece of duct tape over that.
Yeah, I know. There's some websites where if you use that, you're starting over.
I'm going to put a Post-it over that so I can't see that.
Which
Y'all
button are we
don't
talking?
see me do that
You need to
but I
give
just put a
direction
Post-it
for
there.
that out, put it on.
because you have to find somewhere down here, return to multiple coverages. So let's just look at them one at a time.
That's the tallest.
This guy here was really, really tall.
We call that our blowtorch.
Okay, what did I do?
That thing there covers about 2.5 counties if you've
My
got a
coverage.
good, a decent
That's
radio
the next thing
antenna.
we have to Stone Mountain, Dallas.
Yep.
Use this coverage.
I've got a decent radio antenna.
Yeah,
Now,
look at that.
see, yes, that's a really nice one. And then South Florida, y'all can almost get away with circles. If you did one of these, you don't want it to look all fuzzy and green and yellow and all that and hide all the streets. Now, the beauty of this thing is,
You can
if I
see
zoom in,
if you look on the upper right corner of the circle, you can see that cut right there. That's because there's actually elevation near Sebring and Lake Placid. There's actually some elevation there in the middle of the state. It's not much, little hills, but enough
Yeah.
to affect the, the transmission range. But
Right.
look at the pattern on this thing. I mean,
Yeah.
this is a county repeater that's up on a TV tower. And yeah, rock and roll.
Yeah.
It's also a tower mounted transmitter as well.
Well, all
Can
right.
you
So
show
now, if I'd
us-
have known that, I wouldn't have. I can change things to make it to make it look a
you
little bit better. So where's
Do you
the?
think you could show us doing like doing one from scratch? There's one
Yes.
repeater I wanna see on here, and because I've done communication with that repeater when I should technically be far away from the actual range of the repeater. It would be cool to see what this software thinks the range of said repeater should be.
Okay, and by some miracle, is it one of these that I did in red?
No. I mean, I
Okay.
can do it later by myself if it's too much trouble, but it would be
It's a little bit convoluted to find it, but I kind of want to go through that, but I don't want to be here till midnight.
yeah.
It takes a while.
Well, I wouldn't mind going through putting one in. I mean, I'd
All
like
right,
to see
okay.
how to do it
All right,
because
well, we can do that.
it would sure help me because I'm not one of these people that hunt and pecks the right buttons at first.
Well, neither do I, and I've only been using this thing for off and on now for 15 years.
And that's 15 years more than I've got on
right.
it.
Where does this data come from that you're using though? I mean,
Some of it I input. Let me get back to the Radio Mobile website. So let's go. Let's start off. Let's just create a new site.
Joseph,
All right.
you got that information? We'll just put it in.
Yeah.
Okay. So here's the hardest part of the thing is, do you know where the repeater is?
Yes, I do. It is in my, I can tell you the building that it's on. I don't have coordinates, but I have the building that it's on. Or in fact, if you just
Okay.
look at the map and you stick the pin right on top of where the map says Miami is, like the text that says Miami, you're pretty much right on top of it.
I don't see what is it. Miami's over here someplace. Oh, okay.
Yeah, so see the big text that said Miami?
Yeah.
Pretty much just stick it like right there. Yeah, that's
Okay.
pretty good.
All right.
If you
so I'm
open the
gonna-
window, you can smell it.
All right. So I'm going to go ahead and just for this, we're just going to submit it, and we're just going to call this one Miami.
That was a hilarious joke.
MI
thank you, Svetlana.
Miami. Is that how you spell Miami? Wow. The
I always
elevation
badmouth
is
big towns. I'm not a big town fan.
okay. The elevation is at 1 meter. That place is 3 feet above sea level.
Can you edit that? What can we convert 800 feet into meters? I can.
Yeah, we can. But see, this is the elevation of ground zero. The tower.
Okay.
That's
Yeah,
a
that
different-
sounds right.
That's a different. All right, so we're going to add that one. And, all right, and then we're going to go to new coverage. Why is it not? There we go. We're going to select Miami. And you say it's how many feet?
800 feet.
800 feet. Well, that looks like it's 244 meters. I can do that in my head. I missed it by a half a foot. All right, we'll call that good. All right.
Yeah.
It's do you know what kind of antenna they've got?
It is a stacked dipole. Sorry, a stacked folded dipole. You know, like they
Okay,
use for
yeah.
for like commercial stuff.
All right, that's the 6 dB gain antenna unless they put all of
think
them
I
on
think
one
it has
side.
more gain than that.
No,
How many bays does it have?
4.
4?
I mean, I don't know.
I
guess
think they
6 is
could they
fine.
can be a little directional depending on which way the loops are facing.
You can do it. You can get 9 dB if they want to. And since they're in Miami, they might. So they're not talking out over the ocean.
I just leave it at 6.
It is very common down here for all of our antennas, all of our broadcast antennas broadcast in like a bow tie where most of the energy goes north and south.
Okay. Yeah, so mobile, hold on.
We're going to go ahead and change that to 9 since we think it's directional. All right. And this is, I usually use the defaults where it's talking to a mobile antenna. It's 6 feet off the ground with only 2 dB gain. You know, might have a better antenna, but you know, a lot of folks only do one of those little 14 to 19 inch quarter wave dual band
Right.
antennas, and they have crap for to gain.
Yeah, okay.
Leave
What
the
is that?
description blank. Is this a
Right.
2 meter or 440 or what?
440, 444 megahertz.
All right. Do you know what the transmit power is?
Not off the top of my head, but I believe it's probably 50 watts. It's
Okay.
probably the standard.
All right. If that kind of height, unless it's a tower mounted repeater, I'm going to bump that up to maybe 5 dB of loss between the duplexer and the cable
Well,
to get up that high.
It's on top of a building. So they're
Okay,
The
What is
actually,
repeater's right there with it.
Oh,
the repeater is
okay.
actually, the antenna is not that
Oh.
far
Shouldn't
from the
have much
repeater.
line loss
All
there.
right. So we're going to drop that down to only 2 dB. Or heck, if it's really close, it might only be 1.5, a half a dB or so.
Yeah, line loss is going to be pretty low because they use high quality feed line.
Yep. All right, then let's drop that all the way down to 1 dB. There's a half a dB loss in the duplexer and a little bit of connections and whatnot. For the receive mobile, it's next to nothing. And then we go up to, let's see, what's the range do I want? I don't want to go out more than, go up to 124 miles. Because it just might,
Good.
it might do, and this is where you go and make a cup of coffee.
Oh, it has to sit here and slot it.
'Cause it
Please
takes-
stand by as Bill Gates scratches his head.
Yes. And it started off fast. And then it's like, I think the guy is still using his same 386 SX.
Thank you for using Commodore 64.
Yes.
Or Raspberry Pi.
And it's worse. If there's like 4 or 5 people trying to do this at the same time. Because sometimes
The contour map you showed me the other day, or the one I saw, was like up in the mountains. And man, that was one hell of a map. It was like you could see where the valleys and the mountains and how things were being blocked. It was great.
Go to do the 146.76 on Mount Mitchell.
Yes.
I try to
there's a-
monitor that when I'm up there.
there-
I'm on the wrong side of my mountain, but I can usually still get it.
There's a guy here that was trying to do some plots so that you could listen to the air traffic controller in Athens. And I did a plot for where his QTH was and where the airport was. And I told him that because he was going to put like another 2 sections on his tower. And I said, you need 20 more sections on your tower.
Hmm.
You're
And a
gonna have to
permit.
get Approval from the FAA.
Or he could have gone, and maybe put 20 sections of tower. Oh, look at that nice, beautiful circle,
Huh.
Look at that.
So yeah,
Hmm.
I wonder
It
what creates
looks-
that little cut.
Well, that's Homestead over there.
Yeah.
That's interesting. I
Yeah.
mean, see that repeater I could pick up in Fort Myers with the directional antenna. But I think that pretty much matches what their plot looked like.
Yeah, but you were up at 20 something feet with a 9 dB gain antenna or something, and he has it set at 6 feet above terrain in a
Yeah,
vehicle
that's true.
mounted antenna at 3 dB
Yeah.
gain. So, I mean,
Yeah.
if he puts you up at whatever your footage and stuff is, I
Yeah.
bet you it would make it
all
over
right,
almost
so
to Fort
let's,
Myers.
all right, while we're here, we'll just go ahead and add that to our coverages. My sites.
What's
go
the
back to
one
Miami.
up in, Ian, what's the one up in, up near Sarasota?
I'm not. Oh, we're not talking about the NI4CE.
Yeah, NI4CE.
Yeah, that's in Verna. That's
No,
VHF UHF split antenna up there, split system up there. I can hit that from here with my dual Yagis, but I have to be just dialed in right, and I have to be on 50 watts. But they can hear me; it's pretty clear.
Okay, so y'all were talking, so I didn't
Okay.
talk over here. Let me back up here. Where's the backup button? Cancel. Okay. My coverages. I can select the coverage that I've already done, and I can create a new coverage from this one. So I don't have to enter all that other stuff. You know, it remembered the height, it remembered the name. It's going to put an asterisk on this so that it's got a slightly different name, you know.
Yeah.
So where were you wanting to receive this at?
So I'm in, hold on. Well, I was in Fort Myers, but the repeater is the same repeater.
All right, so, you know, we're going to just stick Fort Myers in there, or, you know, maybe
The only thing you're going to change is the receiving
Fort
station.
Myers,
pretty
or
much.
to Fort Myers, but anyhow, we want to go to, where in the world is it? Okay, it's not a mobile antenna.
No,
So how high was your antenna?
30 feet.
30 feet, 10 meters, not very high. Okay, and you had how many elements on that antenna?
I had 14 elements, so the gain was, if I remember correctly, it was 17 dB.
217.
I know 217 will do it.
Okay.
You'll be picking up all of the Caribbean islands.
Okay.
Yeah.
We'll hit the submit button. And
Boy, it gives you that first 16%, no problem.
oh yeah. But see, this the beauty of this software is it when you have picked a site and you've given it the coordinates, it goes out to some topo map and it gets ground zero for that site. So, you know, if I was doing the cell tower that's 300 feet from my house, you know, it knows that that's at 1,000 feet above sea level. And if
Mhm.
the repeater was at the top of that thing at 120 feet, I put in that 120 feet in meters, and then it plots and it uses the tropo map for the valleys and the hills. Now, for y'all down in South Florida, this is boring as hell because y'all are flat.
Yeah, it's all
Yeah.
the same.
You know, when y'all run over a rattlesnake, it's like, wow, did your ears pop? You know, because you know you had an altitude bump.
Look, growing up down here my entire life and living here my entire life for 50 years, I have to tell you that I'm just enamored by elevation and snow. I bought a cabin up in Blairsville, Georgia, right up at the top of the Zellmiller Mountain Parkway there, right before you get to North Carolina. And I love it up there. And I'm going to die up there. I'm doing
Okay.
radio down here. So
Hmm.
So it still doesn't show making it. Now maybe what we should have done is we may have to do this a slightly different way. Okay, because I don't think that changed any. So we'll add
It
that to my
extended it out a
coverage.
bit more, but
Um, What we might have to have done that one is to do that one. Uh-oh.
do
I hit
it
a button I
backwards.
didn't need to. Where's the backup cancel button? We might have to do that as a link. And we're going to link from Miami. I don't have anything in Fort Myers. But what of these, which one is closest to Fort Myers?
probably the one that, well, let me look at the frequency.
They're all pretty close to Fort Myers, but the
All right.
Justice Center would be the actual closest.
Yeah, that's
one.
right, in Fort Myers.
Yeah, the Justice Center would
Well,
be
the
closest.
Justice Center is, but then
And the CenturyLink building is actually in downtown Fort Myers. The 220 machine actually sits on top of the old phone company building in downtown. So CenturyLink would be downtown Fort Myers, and then the
Okay.
yeah, that would be the one that's actually in downtown Fort
So
Myers.
this one here was 244.
And you know what? I got to tell you something I've learned about the 220 band. I like it. It's a nice band. It works good, and it's got a lot of good characteristics about it.
9 loss. He said that their loss was like 1 dB. The receive antenna was 17 dB.
Mhm.
They were 39. Low loss at this end, low loss at that end. And we submit that and we look at it. Now this here, when it gets done, since it's a link, well, there's a little bit of elevation problem. So you must have been getting that over a little
Yeah,
bit
curvature of the earth.
Yeah, there's a lot of curvature.
Yeah, I was going ground wave, I guess.
The fade margin is, yep, you were just hearing it.
Yeah, during the day it would get pretty weak, but at night it would come in like full strength.
You said that was a link to a repeater here?
Well,
No.
well, since I put Miami's on the opposite side, but I put Miami at one end and Fort Myers, more or less, where
Yeah, I
Joseph
mean,
lived with his 17 dB gain antenna. He was
What
trying to
repeater?
go all the way across the state.
what repeater does that come into in Fort Myers? So that's the
Oh, no.
question.
That was
it
my
is.
station.
This
that
is
was
from
my-
his 228.
Okay, you didn't go through the repeater system. Okay,
No.
gotcha.
Well, that may explain why there's no, you'd have to find somebody near the middle of the state to do a hop to make a link go from coast to coast. So basically that gives you the,
I need to just remind everybody, I think one of the reasons he was able to make this jump was because there's not much between Buckingham, east of Fort Myers, and this building, except grass. That's the Everglades. If you look at that, literally east of where he was, and he wasn't in downtown Fort Myers, he was east of Fort Myers, east of the interstate, way away from the city. And everything he goes over all the way across is unpopulated Florida, all the way literally across. It's all just grass. There's no trees, there's no nothing. It's water and grass. It's swamp.
when you
That's
get a little bit
Alligator
of-
Alley, that I-75 that goes across. That's Alligator Alley. And there's nothing down there. So I think that's why he was gaining a little bit on it, because the terrain was helping.
Right. And, you know, you could be ricocheting it off the ionosphere and making it work. Ducting is a wonderful thing. When I lived in Texas, there's a 146.64 repeater someplace in Florida. They had the same PL tone. They would check into our Aries net a lot. Multiple times. They would just, and they sounded like they were in the county. All right. So we kind of halfway gone over how to do a link and how to add a site, multiple coverages. So, you know, if you just did, you know, the grandpa repeater and you wanted to see what those other 3 little dinky ones did that were on buildings and small towers. Wait a minute, I did Miami. I did the wrong one. Oh, look, you know, I didn't notice that until we looked at it. Miami. I guess we still had the other one showing. When we added that receive antenna, it showed that if you had, you were closer with that 17 dB gain antenna, you would get a strong signal. It didn't show it all the way over to Fort Myers. So. Okay, so I don't want that one. I wanted that one and those 3. No, I don't want that one. I want those 3 and the big one. it's like those little repeaters, they get dwarfed by the grandmother of all repeaters. So if you go back to, where's that map that y'all had? Oh, there it goes. If you go back to this map, those repeaters are, other than giving you alternate frequencies to communicate, they're useless. They're dwarfed by the big one. But, you can only talk on one repeater. This opens up multiple channels of communication. So you don't get rid of a repeater because one's got more coverage.
Well, and the truth be known here with these repeaters, they're actually not, that 220 repeater is not going to stay connected to that system. Eventually, it's just going to be a 2-meter system. They decided to connect it up for right now to try to get people to get 220 rigs and stuff. But to my knowledge, that will eventually go away.
The 220 band is just not enough radios that have it.
Well, the one thing it's got going for it right now is Bofang is selling one for $35.
Yep.
And we all have it. I got to tell you, it's a great little radio. I don't know where it is right now, but
Hiding. That's the only problem. You can easily lose it.
here it is. This little radio. Well, here my video's on the wrong thing. But they've got. I know it's still the small screen anyway, but they got this little radio, and it does 2-meter 440, and it does the 220 band, and it comes with 2 separate antennas, one for 220 and then one for the other two, because 220 does not resonate with anything really. And this little radio works great, and I can hit that 220 repeater from just about anywhere with this little radio. And then what I did in the shack here was I went and built me a little dipole antenna out of a piece of wood, and I measured it for 220, stuck it outside with a little SMA wire that comes in and hooks up to the top of this. It Velcros down in the charger, and then I have a little breast mic that goes on it, and I can use this as a little 220 base radio if I want. But anyway, 220 is a good band. Dave, AC3AV, what's up, buddy?
Good evening, gents. Yeah, sorry, I missed last week, and tonight was trivia. So,
Well, bloody hell.
I know. And last week, a bunch of my friends turned up on the door at about, I don't know, 7:50.
Well, we forgive you. It's okay.
So anyway,
This is a great little program he's showing us where you can go in and put all the information and plot your repeater area where your repeater is going to work, and it uses elevation and everything. It's great. You can you can define the transmitter, the height, the power, and everything, and you can define the receiver, the height, the power, and everything. And there you go. It's right there.
All right, now, one of the things I wanted to yak about is if you don't like that one map, you can pick different maps. It doesn't have Google Maps on here, but there is
Well, that sucks.
Yeah, right. It's, so
This one's not bad though.
Let's go to
so which repeater was that? The last one?
I just picked one, but
Oh,
I only did a few of these. But one of the things that I wanted to show
Yeah.
about where's the my sites. If we pick like the Lee County Justice Center, now that's the name y'all give it, but that thing is way up. It's not at the Justice Center. It's out someplace else. Now here you can see it on Google Maps. And when you go out to Google Maps, the coordinates that I got from Ian, they're close.
Well, yeah, they only give 4 digits on the thing. They don't want you to know the exact location for some reason.
So you gave me some verbiage about that road being 4 miles from the county line. So I went to Google Maps and I saw where the county line was.
It still ain't TV.
So, but
Yeah,
I
it's
think
on
I
the
got my-
WVBH tower. It should say it.
it might.
I'm pretty sure that's it.
That's
Yeah,
the tower going off to the left.
yeah, but
The
see, I
actual
put this,
height is that
so I put
first,
the dot,
platform from the-
that's ground zero.
Yeah,
So the software went out and how do we get back to,
it's about 400 feet,
yeah.
not
the,
the whole height
Yeah.
of the tower.
Yeah, the
software
tower's a
went out and
1,000-foot
calculated-
tower.
Yeah, that's a
Yeah,
15
but its elevation
tower.
on above sea level is 8 meters.
Oh, the
It-
ground
it-
will
it-
be. Yeah.
The transmitter site could flood when the ice up north melts. Okay, but y'all don't have to worry about that for a while. Y'all will flood before that because y'all are lower.
I
Well,
don't-
unless
I
the
came in like a
foundation,
wrecking ball.
let's the foundations get washed away.
So
146. 685.
turn to me. So if we wanted to look at that coverage, yeah, that was it. Yeah, see, I actually put it, that was, I saw that when I was looking at Google, the WBBH tower.
Yeah.
All right, so what did I do wrong? My coverage is that one. Use this coverage. All right. So, you can zoom in on this thing, and if, you don't like the roads, you can't see the roads that you don't, you can pick a map that's maybe got Bing roads. Golly, who uses Bing maps? Have they ever updated?
Yeah, Bing Maps is not
You
too
named
bad.
as the anime character, you gay ass faggot! You's a faggot! You celebrate gay pride! You dumb
146.
What the heck?
Just ignore it. 146.
Turn to
685. So what's the coverage from that one then?
Turn to this coverage. Well,
Wow. Okay, right
yeah.
the way down to.
Yeah, that's pretty decent.
yeah,
But you do know that's the 400-foot level of that tower.
Yeah, that's
Right.
the best. That's the best ham repeater in Southwest Florida, right there. I think.
Yeah.
Yeah, because I just tried accessing it and I can could junk it.
okay. Well, what we could do is let's go to.
And that's a good bit north of Fort Myers, isn't it?
Yeah.
It is. It's actually a couple miles into Charlotte County.
Yeah.
It's in Charlotte County,
I think
but it's a
all of
Lee
it-
County owned repeater, and it's on a television tower.
Yeah.
It's a tower mounted transmitter as well.
Isn't it a 145?
So if y'all
170?
could get these two linked, y'all would have they would, as you
Well,
would drive
yeah.
from one place
Lee
to the
County
next.
won't let us link that to anything. At least that's what we're told.
Well,
But
Lee,
if,
Yeah,
if you don't ask, you'll never know, but that's okay.
That repeater, the one in the Miami one's also been shut down. I just wanted to kind of know what the range was like.
I see the Miami one was up for sale. The whole
No.
shooting match, lock, stock, and barrel.
What?
It was up for sale.
Really?
Yeah, everything. The
But you just had to buy the hotel.
no,
I guess
the
Sergio was-
antennas, the
The building
antennas,
too.
the amplifier, the power supply, the rack that it was in, the
Yeah.
filters, or not filters or whatever they're called, the cams.
Selectors.
Yeah,
I'd love to get a hold of all that.
It
Yeah.
was about
Ooh,
3 or 4K. It
yeah, I
wasn't.
saw that.
It wasn't.
Yeah, I'll just write a
staggeringly
check.
expensive. Yeah, it wasn't staggeringly expensive for what it was. Let me see
Man,
if
can
I
you put the
find-
link to the listing in the chat if you have it? Because I'd like
I'm
to
just
see
going to
that.
find it.
I know Sergio was selling the stuff, but I didn't know he had it all listed as one
Yeah.
single thing.
If you move it anywhere, of course, you'd have to have it recoordinated and move the frequency, but yeah, that's,
Okay, so I got. It wasn't like on this.
Unless y'all got questions, I think I'm done. Oh, I know what I could show you. Let me log out of here. Log
Okay,
out.
so the entire system is $3,500, but they recently paid $6,000 for some upgrades or whatever. I don't know what recently means.
I want to see the list because I'm friends with the guy who's selling it. I can tell you what he's.
Well, it's a high Terra.
Yeah, High Terra.
Yeah, it's 430, 470 megahertz repeater. It's got a Sinclair duplexer, Bird rack mounted watt meter, R35 power supply, decibel, B420B commercial antenna, 16 elements, transmission lines, wall mounted camera cabinet.
Nice.
The repeater has DMR digital license, so it's both analog and digital DMR capable.
Is that on eBay?
No, that's on QRZ. And if you look on and Ross is selling it, WRNC. Oh no, WD4EHU.
That might be something else because I'm not.
It's out of Miami.
Yeah, that may be the 800 that they were shutting down. Can you put the link to that? Can you show the link to that?
I got it on my other computer, so yeah, I can do that. Hang on.
Because I don't think Sergio sold the 325 machine yet. I think he's got that at his house set up. But there was 2 other repeaters that shut down recently as well because of all the drama. So they probably put theirs up for sale.
Yeah, I think the crazy crowd just jumped from one to the other.
Sorry, we're derailing your display
Oh,
here.
no, I'm looking for something.
And you know, the truth is, they should try over in Miami. They got all the drama on the repeaters. They should try what we do over here, where we just don't talk on them at all.
Yeah.
And we have very little drama over here on the repeaters.
Do we actually switch ours on?
I know they switch them off.
And as soon as you start using them for something, they start bitching at you. We got to keep them channels clear.
Me and
That's SARnet.
that's SARnet and that's East Coast Reflector. But me and KM4LYZ down in Naples, we actually got a repeater shut down not too long ago because we were goofing off on it too much. They literally pulled the plug on the repeater because we were being too rowdy.
So not breaking any rules or laws or anything, just just talking on the radio. But you weren't talking professionally.
Yeah. You're the one then. Okay.
Yeah, we got the 900 shut down completely.
Wow.
Okay. All right.
Okay, so hang on.
I wanted to show you another feature that this software will do.
Oh, look at that.
So if you're going to use Wi-Fi gear to link to repeaters, this is the St. David's Hospital in Round Rock, Texas. 24 meters off the top of the antenna that's on the top of the hospital. And there's the ACC Pinnacle, that's the Austin Community College Pinnacle building. That is far, far away. That's South Austin. It just happened to be that we could make that work. I've tried really, 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 really hard to push for this link to be done. I just could not get the mesh folks to back me to have the Austin Club spend $300 or $400 to buy the gear to make this work. And it has excellent fade marks. We have, above and beyond using those little piddly little Wi-Fi radios that only transmitted 100 milliwatts. Putting the 30 dB dishes out at each end, we had 16.5 dB of fade margin. If we would bought little amplifiers to bump that up to a full watt or two,
950.
you know, that would have been a solid signal through the worst rain, maybe not snow. But the rain, it would have worked. But the software goes out and it finds the contour of the whole.
I really like that.
You know.
You've
I'm
got
gonna
the
use that a
curvature of
lot.
the earth at the bottom as well, haven't you? By the
Well,
looks of
yes,
it.
you get the curvature of the earth, and then you got, and I've never even really noticed that. But then you got, you know, Austin's known for its hills and valleys.
I'm
And I
gonna use
guess
that tool a lot.
that's somewhere around by you, is it? Because I mean,
This was when before I moved from Texas. I lived not, you know, 4 or 5 miles from the hospital, and I would have drove maybe to about here. And then
Oh,
there
okay.
was, you know, there are high spots I could get, and I could talk to our local repeaters. You know, anyhow, there's a ton of stuff that this software can do. And I just wanted to let folks know, you can draw a circle and say the repeater's got this coverage, and that works for you guys in flat land. But in Round Rock, Texas, that wouldn't have worked because some poor bastard lives down here.
Yeah, we don't have any poor bastards down here.
Yeah, but somebody,
They're just straight bastards.
Somebody has to live there. You know, I was lucky. I was, you know, not on top of the hospital, not on top of the tower on the hospital. I was, you know, somewhere over here, and I worked down here, and I drove up and down that road. But most of the interstate was elevated, so it didn't seem like I don't remember going down quite that deep.
You know, never say never. My station uses a 400 megahertz STL or satellite transmitter link from our downtown office at the Wink building. On our antenna, there's a dish that faces down to Estero, and on the tower in Estero, there's another dish, and we send our radio signal down to our tower on the STL with the internet as a backup. And believe it or not, when I was program director about 7 years ago, it started blinking out. We started losing it certain times of the day, and we'd be on backup 2 or 3 hours a day. And then finally it started getting to where it was out all the time. They built a building in Estero that actually got right in between the beam, right at the point where it crests. They built a building right there, and they did a map study, and our beam was being bisected by a new 12-story building that was being built.
Oh yeah.
And so they ended up moving both dishes up another X how many feet in order to get around it and still have a direct line of sight between the two dishes. So never say never. I mean, we do have buildings and things too. And if you're trying to traverse the state straight across, there's a little elevation in the middle.
Yeah.
As we saw on that map. But once you get down south of about LaBelle, it's pretty much swamp.
So what was the end result with your microwave connection?
Well, they didn't go that route. And I don't have them on this one. I might have another one of these things saved off. It's silly, wonderful software. There's this crap at the top that hides my stuff. Look, I'd have to use this login for Williamson County to maybe find how we did a link. But we started off linking from a repeater site to a low power FM radio transmitter site that's owned by a ham radio guy. And then from there, we linked to a water tower in Round Rock, Texas, and then we linked to the water tower in Taylor so that we could link the two repeaters. It's all, you know, voice over IP, except it's not done through a phone line. It's all through microwave gear, commercial, off the shelf, ubiquity microwave gear. Since then, they've changed it. They've moved out to a hospital because the guy that has a low power FM station, for him to get his music and all that stuff. So it's a canned station. To get all that, he needs high speed internet. And where he's at his home, that costs too much. So he has high speed internet brought to the hospital. Him and a neighbor share that expense. It's beamed to his home. And then he sends it to the 2 repeater sites. And
Wow.
you know, it's he gets all his audio for his low power FM station is, you know, cutting into its bandwidth. His neighbor is sharing his half of the Wi-Fi with his neighborhood, and the repeater gets a free ride. And the repeater has telemetry. There's a young whippersnapper who's got some code running on some Arduino stuff that looks at the temperature of the amplifier, looks at the temperature of the cabinet, the voltage on the battery, the voltage, and it's ripple from the power supply. So you can get a whole dashboard of what's happening at the repeater sites, both repeater sites. Interesting stuff that can be done for relatively cheap. And
Yeah, we do that with 2 of our repeaters, but it's only the repeater guys that can get the info.
Well, see, I tried to get it to where they would give us the links for it from time to time where everybody could watch that. I wanted that link to where I could put it on to the website.
Yeah.
But they were afraid if somebody had that, they would try to hack in and corrupt crap. So that didn't happen. But I think we could have spoofed it to where no one would have known where the data was coming from. You just get to see, you know, it looked like gauges, temperature gauges, and, you know, like a racing car. Some of it was quite boring, you know, 13.8 voltage, never changed. You know,
Yeah.
now the ripple on the power supplies, they would change. Power supply goes offline and it drops the battery. You could watch the battery slowly discharge till the power came back on. Anyhow.
Yeah. Yeah, that's what we do with ours. But I tell you, we got 2 repeaters, and we got the 440 and the 140 6670 linked together. But they get used on a Tuesday evening for the net, and that's it. I've stopped monitoring them. You know, I used to monitor them here and call out, but I don't know what it is about repeaters in this area.
Yeah, I go up to the mountains and I hear more traffic on 520.
Yes. Yeah, we get quite a bit of traffic on 520 here because a lot of guys down in Naples and in the Golden Gate area, some of the older hams, they use that as like a DX spotting network.
Oh, okay.
So they monitor it all the time. So if you drive, I can't get it simplex from here, but if I drive down into Naples, I can call out on 250 and 220, is it 250, whatever it is, and I can get people to come up.
Yeah, like 2 meter calling 520. I like to get on there, and I leave it on sometimes here in the shack on my big antenna, and I'll hear people on the interstate from time to time calling out. I'll answer them.
Yeah.
But it's not used down here hardly at all, and our repeaters are dead all the time down here. Nobody even gets on and talk. And when I get on and give out my call sign, nobody's listening. And now I've reached a point where I'm not hardly listening anymore. It's like, why bother? There's nobody there, you know? So I don't know. It is a little depressing. And that's why I'm doing all the things that I do with the newsletter and this TechNet and everything that we do. I'm trying to just do anything to get more participation going and to get more. And I think the only way we can get amateur radio to where there's a bunch of us doing it and we're all doing it and we're all having a good time is to just expand to a larger area and not be a regional or a local thing, but be a national thing, you know, be an international thing like we are now, where we all get together on Friday nights. That's why this is working out so well, because you don't have to be in our local area to do it. And I think once we beat this algorithm on YouTube, we're going to get a lot more interest. So we're getting there. All right. Was there anything else on the what is this thing called? I don't know. I don't see a name. Radio Mobile. I don't know.
That's
Okay.
Radio Mobile.
Is there anything else on there you want to show us?
Nope.
I like it.
It does a lot for what it is, and you know, it only does plots in the ham band, but it'll do it on any ham band. You can do 900 megahertz, 1.2 gigahertz. If you try to do a plot outside of the ham band, it just doesn't work.
Interesting.
There are paid versions of similar products. They give similar results. This is without spending thousands of dollars.
He doesn't want it used for commercial use. I get it.
You know, without spending thousands of dollars, this is commercial grade stuff. It you know.
Is it an application or is it a website?
You can, there is a way to download it and install it. But I have never done that, because where I worked at, in my telecom lab, we had like 30 computers, plus the one I had my own cubicle. And I might have to sit at one of those computers a half a day. And while the computer is running tests on something, I'm over there twiddling my thumbs, or I could play ham radio stuff on the internet. So I could do hundreds and hundreds of plots. Now the password that I tried to get to work, that I was going to show for more microwave plots, was for a guy in South Texas, and he has access to a television tower, and he wants microwave gear on 4 or 5 hospitals, the EOC, and a couple of fire stations in the 911 dispatch center. And
wow,
it shows all of the plots. They're super easy to do. And he was hoping to get funding from the ARRL, this grant stuff that's coming out. But he wasn't sure he was going to be able to do it, because until they took him away from being the head honcho for the grants, he was the guy that was overseeing the entire grant program. But when I can't remember the name of the group, it's almost like the ARDN folks that do the mesh gear, but it's another 4-letter acronym. But that's the group that was given all of the 44 dot whatever IP addresses that were dedicated to ham radio.
Yeah.
Well, they're never going to use that 20 million IP addresses, so they sold off a bazillion of them, and you know, they got like $100 million. So they've given that money to the ARRL. So if you don't know anything about this new
what a waste.
Grant program that's out there that started on May 4th, you need to go to the ARRL website and look into it. You know, Club could easily get $25,000 to buy equipment to put up a repeater. For that kind of money, you could almost buy the 32nd of an acre to build the tower.
Put up a damn tower.
Yeah, but the ARL is useless.
Yeah, I agree. I tried to join my club with the ARRL and they wouldn't even call me back. I tried for 9 months.
Well,
their people down here don't even do whatever they're supposed to do. They
well,
won't
then
even call
maybe
you
what
back.
you want to do is
Our local Aries team can't even sign off the task books or anything. It's like, it's just very dysfunctional down here.
Yeah, it is.
then why don't you become your section manager?
No, I gave up my membership because it was worthless to me for $50 a year. I thought it was a waste of money.
You could,
I mean,
you
the
could
only
join
thing they
again and
tried to
become
do in the last 2 years that I approved of was they tried to fight the $35 fee, and we lost that, but at least it wasn't $75.
Yeah, I wonder where that was a blind anyway. I
Yeah.
wonder whether they really only wanted to charge 35 and they put it at 75 so everybody had something to fight for.
Yeah, well, that's
You know,
what
you
they
say,
did.
oh, we won, we're only paying 35, when really
Yeah.
we still lost, you know.
well, yeah, but it's, it's 35 for 10 years. That's,
It's not a lot, but I mean, it's going to stop. It's
It's
going
a
to drop the
tax.
numbers. It's going to drop the numbers, I think, because
It
people who
is.
don't use it very much are going to just,
well, yes.
not bother
Um,
to it. It's probably going to be more realistic of the amount of amateurs that there are.
Right, the old amateurs that that are sitting on a license,
Yeah.
that are not on the air, that have that really good 1x2 call, like
Yeah.
the one that's got my last two initials. That's why I have to have three. That guy is most probably not on the air, and I'll be able to get my vanity call.
Yeah, but I was talking to Rhea. She's part of the ARRL the other day, and she said that all the 2 cores that are getting disbanded now, not being used, they're not reissuing them. The 1x2s, they're keeping them either for special events. I bet you what they're going to do is charge a premium for them in the future.
Probably.
But at the moment, they're using them for special events or not reissuing them. So, when they become, I guess if you can still pass them on to your family or something, they're still using them. But I don't know,
What call are you talking about? You're talking about a regular everyday 1x2?
Yes.
Well, there are none to be issued, because as soon as one becomes available, someone gobbles it up as a vanity call.
Yeah, I know. But what they're doing is they're not letting them be used as a vanity call. They're holding on to them. So when they get, somebody doesn't pay their license, and so they, effectively go back to the FCC, they're not issuing them anymore, even as a vanity call. No, I hadn't heard it before, but she said it was.
Because, when it expires,
yeah,
they still have 2 years to come back to get it. So they have to wait 2 years and a day.
yeah.
And that was the same for when I was to get the vanity call that I have now. I had to wait till the 2 year and a day of when the guy that had it before me passed. And the FCC knew that he had passed. It didn't matter that he died 6 months before. They knew about it.
Yeah, and the family,
when they found out about it.
Yeah.
But, the family has X amount of time that they can get it, and then
they get priority as well.
Right.
So if it's not expired and the guy's died, the family can apply for it to be passed on to somebody else in the family before it expires. When it's still valid, if you like, but the guy's not alive anymore, but he's paid up to, because somebody can die 1 month after they've paid their 10 years, and it doesn't expire for 10 years even though he's not around.
Well,
and then 2 years after that, before
And
they'll
then 2
release
years
it.
after that,
yeah.
before it comes up.
I went through that whole thing. I tried and tried and tried. I could never find anything I wanted. And I've now decided that I'm just keeping my call sign. It's mine. I've had it for 2 years now. And,
Well, that's how I was. I had mine for 30, almost 30 years to the day. And then I just saw that one was available. And what made me think about it and wanted it was I was looking at QSL cards that somebody was selling on eBay, and it was my call sign that I currently have now. It, had my initials on it. And I said, well, wow. let me look that up. And that guy's been dead for, a long time. So I applied for it. I got it. And then I found out that my wife doesn't like it, and my daughter doesn't like it, and my granddaughter doesn't like it. They all want me to change back. I kind of like it, so.
I'd
Yeah.
like to change mine, but only the 3 to a 4. I'd like to, because I don't live in 3 land anymore. I live in 4 land, so I'd like to change.
So is it available?
No, some guy's got it up in South Carolina. I did email him and he didn't even respond to me.
Yeah.
Well, is it,
I wanted a whiskey call, but they're almost impossible to get. I wanted a whiskey for something, but nothing.
well, that can't be that hard, because Paul got one, and he'd only been a ham for one day when we applied for his vanity call. So he got a whiskey 4 with his initials.
Wow.
I do with mine.
Yeah, there's a bunch of whiskey 4s out there. I'm looking at the moment. You
I
can
don't
see
know
it.
why. I'm an old radio guy from way back, and we've always had we've always had W call signs, because in commercial radio and in government radio, for the most part, anything east of the Mississippi is a whiskey call sign.
Yeah.
And anything west of the Mississippi is a K call sign. If you guys that don't realize that, all your radio and TV stations in California and all up the West Coast are all K stations. Yep, they're all KOGO, they're all K stations. Everything east of the Mississippi is a W station. It was the same thing with our call signs at the fire station too.
It's a big, well-known exception.
We were WNHK 474. It was our call sign at the fire station. And although there was a few K call signs, most of them were whiskey call signs, and even in government. So I don't know. To me, it was more natural. When I hear K something, I think West Coast still to this day, and I have to break myself of that.
Well, there's KDKA in Pittsburgh. There's a few examples.
There is definitely ones that break the rules, and there's also still a lot of TV stations with 3 calls too. WGN in
Chicago.
was that Chicago, and then also WJZ in Baltimore. There is 3 calls still out there in TV and radio. So
Well, yeah, right here in Atlanta,
WSB.
we smell bacon, WSB.
I love it.
Yeah, they just had a 100-year anniversary.
Yeah.
So they had a W5B call sign.
Yeah, got one right here.
There you go.
How about that?
WSB.
We smell
Your Ian, your middle name doesn't start with a Y, does it?
No, it starts with a J.
Because W4IYH is available.
It's going to be hard to get me to switch it now. I don't know.
Yeah, I like the A's because A are only issued to extras.
Oh, well, Lottie freaking daw.
Yeah, so there's no question. There's no question. If you're an extra, you've got an A call sign. So
Hey,
that they only they only issue A's to extras. That's the only reason I like it.
Oh, there
So
you
there's
go.
no question. But then most people don't know that. So does it matter? Mine was given to me
Did
by
someone
the
else have a
FCC.
question? Okay, I thought somebody else was piping up there.
and we got more of the trolls in here.
No, I adjusted my volume and it dinged.
Okay, no, it's no problem. So I think it was we've got some kids playing in and out tonight, and it's funny because they're not being very effective if they're trying to disrupt us. Anyway, let's see here.
Don't tempt them.
Does anybody have any more questions on the last program we were just looking at with Dallas?
Hey,
All
this
right.
is Ken.
What's up, Ken?
I tried to listen while I traveled to the Fort Myers airport. I'm sitting now at the cell line.
I agree, Ken.
What's that?
Keep going, Ken.
Oh,
Yeah,
sorry.
just keep going.
So I'm just sitting at the cell lot now, so I thought I would say, hey. I had a question earlier. Does anybody know why the explanation for why the sunspot cycle is 11 years?
No, I'm not even sure if they know exactly why it's 11 years, but over the course of hundreds of years, they figured out that that's about what it runs. And I'll tell you what, it started early this year. They still don't know exactly when it peaks every time around. And
Well, they
I'm
do
not even.
retrospectively, don't they?
Yeah, but what I mean is, like, right now we're much further ahead in the cycle than they thought we were going to be. So, you know, it's one of those things where they're not even sure, I don't think, exactly where the top and the bottom are each time around. But no,
there's another factor.
I can't. If there's an answer to that question, Ken, I don't know it.
They
I'm
don't
not
know it.
There's another factor there, and that's the fact that the sun is not a perfectly round mass. And
Yeah,
when we rotate around it, we're different distances away from it.
that's
Yeah,
true.
and
Yeah.
compared with the size of the Earth, it's absolutely massive. So a slight
Right.
change has a huge effect on us, where
Yeah.
it doesn't the other way around.
And our orbit's not perfect either. So,
No.
and our moon's orbit around
Exactly.
us isn't perfect. So every dynamic changes every minute. So I can see why even the 11-year cycle would be longer and shorter. And oh, it's some amazing stuff. I will tell you, I am so looking forward to season, because I've already worked when 10 meters opens up wide open at 3 o'clock in the afternoon.
Yeah.
And I'm shooting north towards the North Pole with my hex beam at 12 feet, and I'm getting the Middle East on FT8, and they're answering me back at 100 watts. Yeah, that's awesome. I tell you what, that's a lot of fun.
You could almost tap on your own shoulder.
I know. I'm telling you. If I was listening the other way, I might have heard myself come back. But yeah, that's some neat stuff. I tell you, I love HF. I think one of the saddest things, and please don't, nobody take offense to what I'm about to say. One of the saddest things is people that become VHF warriors. HF is where the fun's at.
I
in
really
amateur
didn't
radio.
ask. I don't care. I don't give a fuck.
Well, that's awesome. But no, I really don't. I don't care. I like HF. HF is a much better, much better band, and it seems to work much better than you know, as far as being exciting and being new things to do and contacting people around the world. I mean, HF's where it's at. Okay, let's move right on to the next thing. I've got several more things I want to get to tonight, and unfortunately, guys, it's the price of doing business when it comes to a public meeting, but that's all right. Not going to let it
That's right. I'm
discourage us.
sitting here watching the thing.
Yeah, I appreciate it. Thank you.
That's okay. We
Yeah.
can get by.
People sitting in the waiting room. Have fun out there. All right. Yeah, there you go. All right. What I want to show you guys is this program. This is very simple. It's nothing like the program he showed you. Like he said, these circles are almost useless. And I agree with Dallas on that, but they're not useless when all you're trying to do is give somebody from out of the area kind of an idea of what what it might be about. Like, I mean, it's a simple way of showing somebody, look, here's a circle around my house, and I know that this repeater is so many miles, whatever. So this is just a quick little tool I want to show you guys. The link for it's in the chat room, and it's very, very simple. You just go in there, you click where your center is, and it'll draw a circle for you. Let's see if I can get it to draw a new area. What is it doing? Oh,
Drawing a irregular shape at the moment.
yeah, it's supposed to draw circles. I don't know what
Well,
it's doing.
but that's trying to find the area of the shape that you draw. So if it's wanting you to draw, like,
Oh, this is
triangle,
you know what?
you're on the
is
wrong program.
No, this is the right program.
If you're gonna try to
Oh, well, all right. Well, let's
It's
not worry about that. I don't know what the deal is there. That is the right program because it's the one that's on my website here. I don't understand what.
Well, it was drawing, but you didn't complete. It wasn't drawing circles though. It was filling in the area of a
It's supposed to
shape.
draw circles. I don't know why it wasn't, but anyway, I know where I can go find a link to that program, and we'll go straight to it. Anyway, oh, well, we got so many people coming in around here. I don't know what the deal is with that. All right, I've got actually a link to it on my QRZ page. It's like an old link. I know that will get us into it. I think. Well, maybe not. Oh well, not going to worry about it. All right, so let's just move on to the next thing. Whatever. I don't even care at this point. Let's see if I can find this other. There we go. Let's get back to the TechNet newsletter. I wanted to just tell you guys about a few things I want to run through here, and we'll discuss a few things that are going on out there in the world and kind of figure out where everything's at. There was a little more news than normal this week. I do want to tell you, we have added the tropical update back to the TechNet newsletter every week, and it has it'll have all the latest on here for each of the storms as they're approaching out there or whatever. You'll find this to be quite informative. I also have the link to Mike's weather page, which I strongly recommend that everybody uses that. It's the best single resource out there for hurricanes. NOAA is predicting a high. We're hearing a
Ken's
loud
got a hot
radio.
Ken has a hot mic.
NOAA predictions above normal for 2022 Atlantic hurricane season. I think everybody's seen this, but I just want to bring it up for discussion if anybody has any discussion items on it. There's a 65% chance that we're going to have an above normal season and only a 10% chance that it's going to be a below normal season. So I really think we're going to see an above normal season, and that means we could have 3 to 6 major hurricanes. And of course, that Gulf loop is really worrying a lot of forecasters out there. So there's the names for this year. I'm on the list this year. So we're going to see, for so many years, I was never on the list. And then another one of the I names, there's not that many I names, as you guys know. The other I name, it was Ivan, I think it was. They retired it.
That was a bad one, yeah.
Yeah, and now Ian is in there. And you know what sucks? I used to own hurricaneian.com and I let it go, and now I can't get it again because now it's an actual real hurricane name.
Yeah.
Yeah, so it's already got it, but that's all right. I should have kept that domain name, man. I had it. I could have sold that thing for $4,000 or something. But anyway, so but there's your names for this year. I don't know if anybody else is on the list.
Where? Show us. We can't see it.
You can't see it. Why is it? I shared it.
All
Why
we
is
can
it
see
not?
is you.
Well, I shared it. Let me share it again.
There
Can
we
you see
go.
it now?
Yeah. Ollie, Colin, Daniel, Earl, Fiona.
I shared the screen when I started talking about all this. I don't know why it unshared.
I didn't see it.
But yeah, there's the list of names. I don't think there's anybody else on here. Hermine.
Yeah.
I was hoping the last time Hermine came by that it would get used up and they wouldn't use it again, but no, didn't happen. It was a little wimpy thing.
Yeah. Richard,
Tobias. Anyway, there's some good ones on there. We'll see what happens this year. Space weather.
Virginie?
Do what?
Virginie.
There is a genie? No. I
No,
don't see it.
Virginie.
Oh, Virginie. Yeah, Virginie.
Virginie.
that's a tribe name. I've never seen that.
I'm sure we're pronouncing it wrong.
It's just a genie that hasn't been very active yet. Let's just leave it that way. All right.
She hasn't got going yet, but we won't go there yet.
I wasn't going there.
Yeah.
Oh. Anyway, yeah, I want to show you guys a couple things. There's a geomagnetic storm that we actually did get that earlier today, and it was minor. It was a M1 or whatever. But anyway, G1. Sprites. Sprites are really cool. Have you guys ever read about sprites or learned about sprites?
We covered those. We did a little short segment on those a while back. I
think we did. Yeah, they're really cool. I think I had this in my space weather segment about 18 months ago. But sprites are really cool. They can only be photographed. You really can't see them with the naked eye. They are actually a lot faster. They last a lot less time than regular lightning does. And so you really have to have a good camera with a good lens, and you have to be like 100 and something miles away from the thunderstorm to catch these discharges that go up from the storm instead of down.
And you better be fast on that shutter button.
Yeah, it's basically just an extended exposure, and you hope you get something.
Well, a lot of
but-
people somehow have cameras that Pico's Hank is a YouTube channel, and he actually, I believe, is responsible for discovering one kind of sprite. It may have been green ghost,
Right.
or it may have been a third kind. But he, the way he did it, he has a camera that is actually recording video. Somehow he's able to record video at like 30 or 60 FPS in that low light condition. So I think you have to have like a really fancy camera
You
to
do.
actually capture it, because there's no way you can hit the shutter button fast enough. They sit there recording in a loop at
No.
60 FPS or whatever, and they capture it in a video file.
I would venture to say that these cameras could be in the tens of thousands range. I mean, they're probably shooting at like 120 frames a second or some
In
just
low light.
astronomical speed in an extremely low light condition. So the sensor must just be magnificent, and the lens must be huge.
Well, the other thing
Yeah,
is that
pretty
they don't use lenses, do they? Use a telescope.
Well, yeah, but
And
that's
they're-
what I mean. It's one
so
hell
the
of a
light
lens
gathering
package. Yeah.
capability, yeah.
Yeah.
And some of these
It's basically an
telescopes
SLR that's a telescope that hooks onto a telescope. Exactly.
Yeah, and
You
the,
can most good telescopes, you can buy an SLR adapter and put your camera right on it.
yeah,
So,
and those telescopes go into the hundreds of thousands sometimes.
Oh yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, they're probably using a big refractor.
Yeah.
All right. The solar conditions this morning, I guess, are about the same now. I don't have my other computer over here that I normally have up right now. I'll tell you guys about all that in a minute. My shack is in a major mess here because I'm remodeling. But anyway, the solar flux has been dropping for 5 days, so it's not great out there this weekend. But yet we had a little minor storm today, so they might have come up. Like I said, I don't have the current ones pulled up. They're not really on their predictions, but we're going down a lot sooner than they thought. Hopefully we'll get another rise coming up here in about 4 or 5 days.
Well, we're still up at 137.
Is it still right now at 137? So it's actually gone up. That little storm we had earlier nudged it up just a little bit. And the good news is hopefully the KP index will settle back down, and then we'll be able to get some good radio propagation out there. All right. As far as the terrestrial weather goes, I just wanted to bring this back up. For those of you who are not in our area, sorry, we'll go quick. I just wanted to bring up the fact that, doesn't that look like August?
Yeah.
We are returning to the August type weather pattern. We did a week and a half of August, and then we did a week and a half of June, and now we're back to a week and a half of August again, where we're going to get the big
water
boomers
levels-
every afternoon.
Yeah, but the water level isn't as high as August, is it? We're only getting a fraction of the rain. We're getting the rain at the same kind of period, but we're
It's
not
not
getting
high.
as much.
Nor the sea surface temperature is quite as high either.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's true. I mean, I will admit that you will probably get even deeper convection in August, but still, what I'm talking more about the pattern, how it builds up through the afternoon, and then there's a trigger point at some point, and then they either meander towards the coast or they meander towards the inland areas. Normally in August, they form up over the I-75 corridor or over the East County Line corridor, and they move west.
Yeah.
And that's the kind of thing we're talking about, the August pattern. All right. So anyway,
We just like arguing with you.
we did. I know, and I love it. At my job, that's what I do for 3 hours on the radio is argue with people. I got into a good pisser tonight on there, but
You obviously need more practice.
yeah, yeah. Well, anyway, yeah, I had some good ones here. Did you know that I love the old man D-Star closed stores whatever. The only problem I have with D-Star and Fusion and DMR is just that You need to make sure somebody's there before you go spend all that time trying to figure out how to program that ignorant thing. Anyway, and that's especially for DMR. There's a lot of people that own DMR radios. There's not many that have DMR radios that actually work, and there's even less to talk to people on them. Anyway, did you know that your antenna can wilt if it gets too hot? I didn't know that.
What? No.
And I like the third one there. Don't bother holding up a ham.
Got no
He
money.
ain't got no money anyway. No swap shop this weekend. I think there's only one in June, and I know it's like in 3 weeks, I think.
Why?
It's June 11th.
Yeah, there's not one. Yeah, because of the
The
holidays.
day before my
and everything.
birthday.
Yeah. So there's not one tomorrow, and then there's not one till June 11th. So, and then that's the only one in June. So don't miss the swap shop if you need to get something or whatever. Go see Joe.
Hey, is the swap shop returned back to its previous disastrous state, or has it improved? Or
No,
like, since
they're
I've
working
left,
on it in there. There's little bits of progress going on. They're doing all right. There's another guy in there helping Joe, and
Oh,
and they've got it organized. They've got the aisleways cleaned out, and they're
Oh,
getting things organized. It's getting there, dude. You know, it's a lot of
Nice.
stuff.
I'm glad to hear it. I was worried it was gonna.
They're also putting out a free table every time too, and trying to get rid of some of the older stuff.
Nice.
Yeah,
Nice. Good. I'm very glad to hear that they're.
yeah. They got a special
Clearing.
2-for-1 on 8-track tape players is coming.
Oh boy,
Yeah.
I need a
2 songs clunk, 2 songs clunk, 2 songs clunk, 2 songs clunk, and it's over.
78 RPM record if you're lucky.
There you go. And I mentioned this earlier, but just to bring it up again, this is that thing that California is moving to make it illegal for the cops to scramble their radio transmissions. I thought this was great. This is bringing transparency back. Do you know the number of people that are out there that decide, I'm going to rob a bank and I'm going to buy a scanner and I'm going to digitally download this, or I'm going to go online and I'm going to put them so I can listen to the cops on the scanner, and there's 20 channels. Maybe they'll be on the right channel when they dispatch the bank robbery I'm doing, or the whole listening to the cops on the radio when you're a bad guy is kind of a fantasy. It really, it's Ocean's 11 or something. But it's not, it's just, I don't know. It's just not practical to think in those terms. The reason that they're doing it's because they don't want people to hear where they're going and do transparency stuff. But anyway, so I'm all for more transparency. So this is a good thing. And they're going to hopefully, after what happened in Texas 2 days ago, the public needs to be able to monitor our public servants and make sure we're getting our money's worth. Anyway, I'll leave that there. Let's see here. I know, and I don't want to go down this whole road. We could talk about this for a while tonight, probably. But I just, from a radio standpoint, I don't like things being scrambled, especially things that I'm paying for. I bought that repeater. I bought that tower. I bought all those radios those cops are carrying, and I should be able to listen to my stuff.
As long as they don't have any personally identifying information to go out over it.
All that goes over the computer now.
Yeah, I just go.
And when I call up and say I'm running a tag, it's ABC 123. Okay, 10-4. That's not a privileged conversation. Now, when they come back and they give your name and your address, we're getting into something that could be privileged. Thing is, I don't have a problem with the cops having a scrambled channel that they can use for SWAT operations or giving personal information or talking about fatalities on the side of the road or something. I'm talking about scrambling all routine transmissions within a department.
Dispatch, I'd like to be able to listen to.
Yeah, we need to be able to hear what they're doing, where they're going. And I'm speaking from a standpoint of the media. I work in the Wink building. We monitor that. We've lost the ability in the building to monitor law enforcement. We've lost a huge chunk of transparency.
Yeah.
And considering these same departments don't have body cams, don't have dash cams, don't give public information requests very easily, and they also don't work with the media worth of crap, it's a little scary now that we have no idea what's going on, ever. Yeah. Oh, by the way, they investigate themselves. And they found nothing, wrong.
They'll
okay. The next thing is something new to try. I mentioned this earlier, right before the show. this is a fun thing to do. And this also lets you see how many of them are encrypted because it comes up pink and says encrypted. You can't listen to that. But it's fun. You can listen to fire, EMS. You can even listen to the Lee-Trans going around and picking people up. But all you need is a $40 SDR Sharp and any computer, pretty much. I don't know if Apple does it, but I think all the other ones do. I think Apple does it if you put money in it.
You can get it for free on an Apple.
Oh, really? Okay, that's unique. And then freeware, which you can download. And then, I'm just giving Apple a hard time. I just have to.
I like
It's the only computer where you have to keep putting money in it every day. But anyway, and then you got any antenna.
In a few years.
I'm showing a discone antenna, but I swear to you, I hooked this up to a Bofang magnet mount antenna that I bought for $15, and I threw it up on the roof, and it stuck on the metal roof of my shack, and I hooked it up to this thing, and it gets all the trunk channels in 2 counties. So you don't even need a good antenna. So if you've got all these things sitting there, you could have this working in 20 minutes. There you go. So I think it's a lot of fun. This is what the thing looks like when you get it going. You'll see your what you're used to seeing with most programs now. Your levels and waterfall, everything right there. And then here's where it shows you what it's decoding. This will say encrypted here, and it'll be pink if it's a transmission that's encrypted. If it says call, that means it's receiving. You can see here it tells you what it's receiving on the left channel and putting over your left channel, and what it receives on the right channel. Notice the little fire trucks and ambulances. If you want, once you start scanning, if you hear that that's an ambulance, you can actually set it as an ambulance channel, and it will put the little ambulance on there for you. You could lock out channels that you don't want to hear. Like if you don't want to hear the handicap buses going around and picking up all the folks for their doctor's appointments, you can lock that channel out. And so it's really cool. There's and I've done this. Trust me, I know what's on there.
But I do want to hear the dog catcher.
There's dog catchers on here. There's the county plumbers. Turn that water off. It's spraying everywhere. And I mean, there's everybody on it. It's all the whole county. So if you just want EMS and fire, you'll have to go in and just, limit it down to what you want to hear, basically.
I think you can listen to the school buses too.
Yeah, I think they're on there too.
School buses in Lee County are actually on FM. I have the frequency for them. I don't have it in front of me.
They're still on UHF, I think, aren't they?
They're on UHF FM.
Yeah, I think they're still on the U. Yeah, because they've had that system for years, and they're licensed on about 8 different pairs, I think, or 6 different pairs. Or I don't. They may be simplex channels with just big antennas. I don't know.
I believe they are simplex because
they might be.
I've monitored them a lot, and I used to live in Buckingham, right next to a big old school bus depot, and you'd hear them coming in and out full strength, and I was pretty sure it was simplex.
Yep.
So I guess their routes must have not taken them too far apart or whatever. They didn't need a repeater, but.
Well, repeaters are great for when you've got a system where units need to hear each other. With buses, really, as long as they can speak to the base, that's really all that matters. And so a simplex system would work a lot better for a bus barn than it would for a fire department or a sheriff's department, because it's important that everybody hears everybody. With buses, it's not that important. You only hear the buses that are within 5 miles of you in the base station. That's really all you need. All right, the next thing here is, and by the way, all those frequencies are in radio reference, or what's the other one? There's 2 different ones, repeater book or whatever.
I think repeater book and radio reference are the same thing.
Yeah.
But if you want scanner frequencies, you Google radio reference, and if you want repeaters, you Google repeater book. But they're the same website.
Right.
It's just easier to Google radio reference or repeater book, depending on what you want.
All right, today's one of my features in today's was for new hams, just the 5 mistakes people make. I'm just going to run through them real quick. I know most of you guys have been a ham for a while, but I have the Aries standard frequency list on a chirp program on my QRZ page. If you need it, just scroll down. It's near the bottom. You can download it right from there. I think I even have all the SARnet frequencies in another program. Please, please, please remember to always download your radio first into the computer, then open the file in a separate tab then copy and paste the lines that you want out of my program into the radio program that you just downloaded from your radio, and then blow your program back in the radio. Be specific about that.
Sorry. I got a question for the
Go
people
ahead.
here. I have a Yaesu FD65R, and I have the RT Systems cable, and I plugged it into Chirp because I hate the RT Systems software. And I have a really weird issue. So back in Florida, I had all my frequencies in different banks. So I had business band in one bank, a marine band in another bank, and then I had a bank for all the Alabama channels. I had like 5 different banks that I kept my frequencies in. Well, now I have multiple banks still, but it's completely bugged out. I only have, if I go to bank 0, then I see all the channels. If I go to bank 1, then I only see 2 frequencies, and they're like repeaters that don't exist, that are not programmed into the radio anymore. If I go to bank 4, then I see like just 1 repeater, and you can sit there pushing the up button forever, and it'll say there's like 500 copies of this 1 repeater. And what I did was I did completely reset it. I cleared out all the channels. I emptied all the banks so that it was a completely blank radio. And then I did the thing where you copy it line by line. You know, I didn't copy the whole image, and it's still screwed up. And I don't know if there's some kind of master reset I can do on the radio, like a complete reset to factory defaults or something, because it's not a huge problem, but it's really annoying that I can't.
There
use my
should be a
banks.
factory
There
reset
should
on
be
that
factory
radio.
Reset someplace. Most of
It
the
should
radios have.
be in the manual.
Yeah, I'm gonna have to look at
Look
the
in the
manual and find
manual
it.
or look online.
All right, I'm gonna do that because it's a weird bug. I guess it's what you get. You know, Dave was always saying, "Oh, don't use Chirp. Chirp is bad. It's gonna break your radio." And I never seen that problem until now. Now I'm actually having problems, so I got to eat my words a little bit here. But
What kind of radio is it?
FT65R. It's like
Oh, it's
yeah,
a Yaesu. Yeah, I was told
Chirp is
Chirp should only be used with Chinese radios, not Japanese radios. That's what I was told.
but the RT Systems software sucks. I mean, the
Yeah, it
RT
doesn't.
Systems software, you pay like $130 for RT Systems software and cable. And
Yeah, but then you can
it's
only use it
horrible.
on
Since
one
when?
radio.
Yeah,
I'm
you
not.
can only use
I'm
it.
not spending money
It's
on
such
that
a
shit.
scam.
Yeah.
Yaesu needs to
that
make their own
expensive?
program cable.
Well, Yaesu have. They've just started now. They've just launched it, but they're using new cables because they're having trouble with 2 things. They're having trouble with Windows 11 because the drivers are completely different. And they're also having trouble with, I think it was, I don't know, some other driver for something else. So what they've done is they've done away with the 2 cables. I think they were called 53 and 57, and come out with 2 new cables. Basically, the only difference is the end. You know, one is a, USB, and the other one is the 5-pin DIN with the interface built into the cable. I was looking at, I'll see if I can find it on YouTube. They've just launched it, but I tell you, if you watch the YouTube, if you thought you knew something, after watching that, you come away and you can't understand what the hell they're talking about.
Okay.
It is
After
the
you do
worst.
that, now you know nothing.
Now you
I
know
love being
nothing.
more confused after an instructional video.
Exactly. And this guy, he comes from the Midwest, and bless his heart, I mean, he does know what he's talking about. He's just got no ability of passing it on, and he keeps making mistakes, and he says like, oh no, 36, not 37, sorry. Oh, and then you do a PDD and an ECD and a B and a 4 and a 5, and then you go, you know, and this is what everybody wanted, because I've got a 65 as well, and I've got a 400, and programming those things is a nightmare, which is a shame because they're great radios. The 65, I actually won at the Hamfest. Southwest.
Oh, nice.
Yeah, and
I love a 65.
best. It's the best handy talkie I've got.
Like you can get the FT3, what's it called, the 3XR, whatever. Like there's higher end radios, but if you want something better than a Baofeng that is not $1 million, the 65R is like is perfect.
Absolutely brilliant. It's $80.
Yeah,
I mean, it's a staggering good. I mean, I took mine to the club and demonstrated it and showed everybody, because I could access one of our repeaters from the club site where I couldn't with anything else. I've got the F2D or whatever it is, And that thing is deaf as a post, but it is got fusion and everything in it. But we tried a bunch, and by far, for $80, that's a fantastic. And you can get the 70, which is the same radio, but with fusion built in, should you want to go that way. But they are great. But I'll tell you what, the antennas aren't that fantastic.
Really?
Spaghetti.
I used mine with the signal stick for a long time, and then I got tired of the signal stick, so I put the stock one back on there, and it's been performing. I mean, compared to a signal stick, it's like, you know, maybe 2/3 the performance of the signal stick. Nah, I'd give it more like almost half the performance of a signal stick, but it's not terrible. It's not completely horrible.
No, well, what I'm doing for my club next Wednesday, sorry, and I'll put it together now so I can show you. I did some work for a lady, and I saved her a fortune, and she said, I want to buy you something. What would you like that you would never buy for yourself? So she bought me a rig expert.
Oh man, you must have done her one pretty good favor.
I saved her about 18 grand.
Oh, was she getting scammed or something?
Well, kind of. She was getting a install of electric, full house electric setup. And they were charging an arm and a leg. And I spoke to I buy my gas, propane, from a little dealer down here. He fills your own tanks. Mm-hmm. So I was talking to him, and I said, how much do you put a tank in for, And he said, I put a tank in for $700, but you've got to buy the tank. And this company was charging her like $4 grand to put it in.
Great.
You've got to come around with a digger and dig it out and everything else. So then I said to him, well, do you got somebody who works with you? And basically it went from 34,000 down to 14 to do exactly the same job. So, I mean, I charged her, I oversaw the job. So I charged her like a consultant's fee or whatever. And I charged her $1 grand for doing it. But she said, no, you've saved me such a lot of money. I want to buy you something special. So, so what I did, and I don't know if you can see.
Kind of.
Where am I? But what I do, this is my antenna from the, I'll show you the screen as I can get there. So, and I've tested, I've got a bunch of antennas. Funnily enough, the mobile antennas are pretty good. The handheld ones aren't that great. They're good, but they don't resonate where they're supposed to.
Well, here's the thing. When you put it on an analyzer, and Ian will know this too. When you put a radio on an antenna, an HT antenna on an analyzer, you're going to get the analyzer itself is no longer providing that counterpoise that the radio provides.
Yeah,
so you're never going to get 100% accurate reading of an HT antenna from an analyzer. Unfortunately.
Wait till you see that, and then you're going to eat your own word. I can't see myself, but
what I ended up doing when I was testing my antennas is they would all be like off. It seemed like they were all SWR off. So what I would do is I'd reach up and I would put my finger on, on the coupler up there on the top of my SWR meter, and I would find that it's actually right in where it's supposed to be. Because your hand and your face and everything is kind of part of the antenna with a portable radio.
Yeah. Okay. So let me see if I can show you that. I don't know if you can see the screen.
There we go. I can see it.
Yeah.
Okay. So there's 146, which is roughly in the middle of the 2 meter band. And look where it dips.
Yeah.
But then if I turn it round, look what we've got.
Oh, you put a tiger tail on it.
19-inch tiger tail.
There you go.
19.5 inches to be exact. So that's that. Now let me go away and do.
When I first started, I bought, and I still have it. It's right over here. One of those fold-out 48-inch tactical antennas, and it didn't work any better than the 18-inch antenna I bought. And I'm like, this sucks. I ended up putting 2 19-inch counterpoises on it, and stood there with that antenna with these two rods sticking out like this. And next thing you know, I'm talking all the way down to a stereo on that repeater, standing in my front yard, 30 miles away.
That's why they invented coat hangers, wasn't it?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, well,
What's that? 435. Okay.
But
1
look
to
where it is.
4.
It's up at 3.
Yeah. 1 to 3, 1 to 4.
And that's the antenna that comes off of the thing. But if I go,
And let me tell you, while you're switching that, I'll tell you something. I did a lot of testing with antennas, and I found that the one that came paired with the radio a lot of times was the best choice.
well, that's the one that comes with the radio. Yeah, I've got a couple of Nagoyas, and they're good, and they're like one SWR of 1.2, but it's not where it should be.
Right.
They're not resonating where they should be. So here, if we can get there.
Whoa. What?
That's pretty good, I
That's
think.
That's pretty good, but it's not like a smooth. It's not a smooth.
No, but
curve.
that's
like,
probably me moving it up to the screen.
That's true. Yeah.
Oh yeah.
Probably a little
But
bit of
that
artifact
is,
on there.
if I bring it back here, that is a little
That's
one
a
off.
Comet.
That's a Comet.
It's a Comet dual bander.
Yeah, it's a Comet Dew-bander off your car. And those are quite good. Now, I've got another one.
I got a little Comet that I bought for $6 at the swap shop, and that's one of the best portable antennas I have.
Yeah.
It works great on 440 too.
I've got so many adapters here because you need different adapters. But what I'm doing is I'm taking all this down to the club, and we're going to test portable antennas.
I got a whole drawer of adapters. Look at that.
Yeah, I know. Yeah, me
every
too.
adapter.
Yeah,
every adapter known to man in there.
Yeah, me too. We all have.
I'm impressed. You keep yours in a drawer.
Yeah,
I keep mine in a little box.
I do that. I got drawers over here. This is all audio. That's all audio cards and audio cables. And I keep everything. That's all video cables, video adapters. I'm not very organized. I got programming cables, miscellaneous, and USB stuff, but I'm not very organized. But that's one area there where I'm trying to get organized.
Rick's got the cup of connectors.
There you go.
Mine still live in a Ziploc bag.
Yeah. So there is the Nagoya.
Whoa.
Ooh, I wouldn't even put that on my radio.
That's a $12.
That's a knockoff. That's a knockoff.
That's a Nagoya from.
It's a knockoff. I'm telling you, Nagoyas are the #1 fake antenna out there. I don't even know if there's any real ones left.
Except the ones that say they're copies of the Nagoya.
Yeah, I'm telling you, I've got 2 Nagoya antennas, and they're the worst 2 I have. And I've heard good things about the real ones. So, and I also hear they're the biggest ones being counterfeited right now. So it's almost one of those ones you got to be careful with.
So there's a Nagoya. You see, it's got a good dip, but it's in the wrong place.
Yeah, it's too low.
Too low.
It's still only getting you down to 2 at its best performance. It's at 2.
Yeah, and that's still with the
and
tail.
that's with the tiger tail in the back. I don't. That's just.
I mean, I can
sad.
take the tail off, and some of them depends on which antenna it is. But
hey, Lee, what's up, man?
You guys are going late tonight.
Yeah, we're still hanging around. We're playing with antennas and tuners and stuff, so we couldn't help ourselves.
I've hijacked the net again. Sorry.
No, that's fine. I was just going through the newsletter anyway. We're about done.
So
I'm giving the Nano VNA presentation again next week to a local club here.
See, that's the difference.
Oh, that's cool.
Without a tail.
Oh,
it puts it way up on the other end.
Yeah.
So why don't you trim the tail until it's
half a tail?
Yeah, tune it with the tail.
Oh, that'll probably make your whole SWR move up, but it'll probably still shift the area wide resonance.
I need to make it longer, not shorter.
I don't know.
Well, it's got no tail now, and it gives me that. So with a tail, it will move it back to where. Yeah, I need to half the length of the tiger tail.
Can't you just put it back on there and then just fold it in half? That'll give you a basic idea of what that'll do for you.
Fold it and twist it over itself.
Yeah, I could just hang on.
Yeah.
This isn't. If you can see what I'm doing, but
I'll tell you, when I first got into this, I was all into these portable antennas. I've got about 16 of them now in 5 different links. And I'll tell you, the Comet one is the best performer I have. And you're not going to want to hear what the second best performer and the third best performer are. The Bofeng antennas that came on the radios. Each radio seems to be matched to the antenna that comes with it. My TYT, if I switch them out, if I put the wrong antennas on the wrong radios, they don't perform as well. I believe a lot of times with these cheap radios, they build an antenna specifically for that radio. And that seems to provide them. You can buy a longer, better, more expensive antenna and not get as good a performance out of it. Just something I've noticed. There you go. Your dip's in the right spot, but it's not a very good dip.
No. And that is by doing
That's
that.
barely 3 SWR. I don't let my radios touch anything that high.
So all I've done is twisted my, I did twist my tiger tail up together and it's untwisted itself.
Of course, I think Rick told me one time I was way too anal about SWR.
Well, the thing is, you need the SWR. First of all, you need the antenna to resonate. Then you need it to resonate where you want it to resonate. And then
because the radio might like it, but it might be radiating in all the wrong places.
Well, the resonant,
not radiating at all.
You're shooting it up into the sky or down into the ground.
Dummy load has a 1-to-1 SWR from
Absolutely.
That's true. Well, I've noticed that. And I'll tell you where you really notice it. Like my hex beam, it's a 10 through 20.
Yeah.
I can tune that thing for 6. The radio loves it. It has an SWR of 1-to-1. It's perfect. But guess what? 0 performance. I can't get anybody to talk to me on it.
Yeah, and 1-to-1 where though?
Sky or some goofy thing.
1-to-1 on the call frequency that I'm using for FT8 on 6 meter. Yeah, but like I said, I can get the SWR perfect. The radio likes it. There's no return coming back into the radio. It loves it, but I get nothing on it. It's because it's just blowing it out everywhere like a shotgun.
Yeah,
and I lose all the advantages of my hex beam. And the same thing kind of happens with my long wire. I can tune 6 on my long wire. I don't really like it, but I can get close. I can get down to about 2-to-1 or 1-to-2, whatever. But again, with the long wire, I don't get that good. Now I got a 6-meter beam I put up there that's tuned 5 elements for 6 meters. That thing is a powerhouse, man. It's amazing.
You're talking cheese there with a beam against a piece of wire.
I know, but I'm just saying, just the point I'm trying to make is just because the SWR is a 1-to-1 doesn't mean it's putting any of that energy where you need it.
No, it doesn't need shit. I mean, I've got a vertical. I've got a vertical with I've got 6 foot of tubing hammered into the ground, but I've got no radials as such on it yet. And it's crap. I can hear the world, but nobody can hear me.
Yeah. Yeah.
You know?
So it's receiving great.
I can hear Africa, and it's like 2 or 3 S points up on receive, but transmit. I've actually been switching between the two, but I did put a couple of radios out and it made it a lot better, but I've got to move it to somewhere better, and then I can get radios all round. I'm going to hide it behind a palm tree and see if I can get away with it.
I saw one in an article a while back. The guy actually laid down rows of chicken wire.
Oh yeah.
And made his ground plane out of chicken wire.
Oh yeah.
I'm like, yeah, there you go.
Well, I'm surprised.
Ground plane.
I'm surprised when we have a special event at the swap shop that somebody doesn't make all that fencing, the radio, their counterpoise.
Yeah. I used to try to get things going. I used to think how neat it would be if we did build days and work days and tuning days and stuff out at the swap shop, but nobody was really interested.
Yeah,
I mean, we're out there in the middle of the day on Saturday. We could be operating.
Yeah.
You know, we could set up
Wow.
over there under the pavilion and be operating, you know?
Well, they did. The only time I went there and they operated was when they had some birthday. I don't know if it was 20, 50 or 500 years of FMRC. They were giving away free burgers and stuff, and they had a couple of people operating. That was way before COVID, so I'm guessing 3 years ago now.
Was it the picnic?
Sorry?
Was it the picnic?
Yeah, it was some birthday or celebration of FMRC.
Okay.
And somebody had like a to-go kit in a wooden box that they did round the side. Somebody was cooking burgers. It was about 3 years ago. That's the only time I've ever seen anyone operating from there. I mean, before COVID, I used to go quite a bit, at least once a month. But since
I want to tell you guys, this has been the slowest week I've ever seen since I've been in ham radio for contests. That's the only contest this week.
Some of the contests, I'm gonna try to work that some this weekend.
Yeah, it's.
I had a blast with that last year.
CCW, anytime you see CW, that means that I've been excluded from the contest.
Yeah.
So I guess that's my fault. Anyway, I'm just kidding. Normally there's like 50 contests going on, but
You can
this
get
weekend,
programs that read CW. That's what I do.
yeah, you know what? And I Rick, honestly, I don't know if it's my setup or what. Ain't none of them can read it worth a crap. So I'm doing something wrong. No matter if I put the radio in CW or I put the radio in SSB or no matter what I put the radio in, the program's receiving the sound from the radio and it can't read it. It'll read it and give me a bunch of false characters the whole time. So I've got to.
FL Digi. Have you tried it?
No, I haven't messed. I've got it downloaded, but I've been trying to get somebody to come on the show and show us all how to use FL Digi, but that hasn't happened yet.
What the hell, Joe? What's Joseph doing?
Oh, sorry.
Hanging from the ceiling.
He's doing his back.
I don't know what direction my camera's facing.
Yeah.
I can't see my own camera. I was upstairs because today I'm not feeling well.
Well, Ian, sorry. Now, get back to the CW before we drop Ian on his thing. What I found with those software programs, Ian, and even the rig, I've got a rig that reads it. That big knob, the biggest knob on the radio, becomes very important.
Right, because with CW, you're on a certain tone.
Yeah.
And you can be above or below other people nearby that are on a different frequency. I get what you mean. It works the same way as FT8, actually. It's very similar to FT8, how each computer is using a different tone on this basically close to the same frequency. I get what you mean.
Yeah.
It's kilohertz, whatever.
I mean,
it's cool.
Find out what
I know I'm not explaining it well, but I understand it. It's pretty cool. All right. But yeah, I want to figure that out because I want to see what those CW people are saying about me. I know there's a conspiracy out there.
You know they're talking about you. Now you got to learn CW so you can find out what they're saying.
I know. It's like D. This guy's a jerk. D. Anyway, all right. So the next thing I want to show you guys, I've added a new section called "Fun Things to Buy on Amazon." These were my two purchases this last week, and I found them to be a lot of fun. The fuse panel is getting installed tomorrow. I got it right here. It's getting installed tomorrow. And I really love this thing. It came with like 3 times more fuses than you need. That way you can pick the right flavor for each hole. Really cool thing that one is. And then these other things, these little gauges that I have here. I actually have a couple of those I can show you. I don't know if I don't think they're hooked up. No, they're not hooked up. But let me turn this off. I can show you guys. These things are really cool. They're really small. They're pretty small. But that's all they are. That's the white one. You can tell because it's got the yellow in it. to make the blue look white. But anyway, there's a little thing on the back. You get 5 of these for nine something, for $10. You get 5 of these. And anytime you build a go box or you build anything, anytime you have multiple power supplies or multiple batteries, you just hook one of these up and put it somewhere on your box where it looks really cool. And whatever voltage is fed into it, it reads out that voltage. It's just that simple. There's only 2 wires. Now I'm looking at some of these that have thermocouples and things like that I'm going to be hooking up as well. But I'm going to start with these. So I added those to my list this week as really cool things to buy on Amazon, because for literally just $10, you can get 5 of these and you can put them all over your shack for all your different power supplies and batteries and everything else. It's a really cheap thing. And if you're in the boards and building things, they can be even more fun, Joseph. So I've already given my nephew one, and he's already built it into a project he's building. By the way, we're getting his license next year. He's 11. I'm already starting to work with him on that. So I'm hoping to get another 12-year-old ham going here.
That'd be awesome.
Get this
Hey,
new
Ian?
generation of hams going.
Ian, I got a website
Yeah.
I want to show you, but I need to share screen.
Yep, let me do it. Yeah, I've got it turned off to where if one of us is sharing, nobody else can share because of the problems we were having.
Hold on, I want a question about that block.
Oh, go ahead.
What's the maximum power you can put through that block?
Oh, it's I think it's 100 amps. Let me see
really?
here.
Ooh.
Yeah, it's more than you think. Let me see.
Is that
I'll
Chinese
just-
amps or
Well, I'm sure there's an American conversion on there.
yeah.
That's at least 72 amps American.
Yeah,
Wow.
that's good. That's what I meant. You know, if you got, so I
Yeah.
could see the red. I think is 20 amps, isn't it? The yeah, I couldn't find it either. Oh, there it is. Okay.
Just type marine
it's
fuse.
a boat fuse.
Marine
block.
fuse. It's a
Marine.
boat fuse. Yeah, if you type marine, it'll get you to it. And yeah, it's set in here. It's 12-volt fuel. 100
20 amp
amps.
fuse.
100 amps. 30
20
amps,
amps
per
per
fuse,
fuse.
with a grounded
No.
bus bar.
Is that per fuse? Yeah, okay. No, 30 amps
See,
per fuse.
that's a way better than those thinking what are they, power pole blocks that are like $150 or something. So you get 10.
Look, everybody keeps telling me how good power poles are, and you rich people can have them. They're too expensive. They're just too expensive.
I don't
They're
like
good,
just-
but I mean, you know,
I like them too, dude.
yeah,
No, I
but
There's a
don't
lot
like
of
like
things.
you say,
you know,
it's a lot
I like
of money.
I'll be
No.
honest with you too. I like ribeye steaks.
Yeah.
No, I'm saying I don't like power poles. I go to Gigaparts and they're like, yes, we want $100 for like
I
4
know.
connectors. It's like, give me a break. What?
Yeah.
No
And the
way.
connectors
Stupid.
themselves, the connectors themselves are nothing special. I like ring terminals with a stud, like way better than
Me too.
those power pole things.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah,
see,
like this here, you crimp on. I always crimp and solder. So I would crimp and solder. I mean, the only time that power poles are good, I think, are in mobile or portable applications where you can just plug it in real quick. But like my desk here, everything is plugged in, and it's plugged in until I, change it, which is not very often, So that I'm going to be buying one of those.
Yeah, I just literally I took delivery of this one not long ago. And the neat thing about this particular one is there's a little red light on each fuse.
So it tells
And
me
whenever
the
one
fuse
blows
is on.
out, the red light comes on, so you know which one it is. It's really easy. And you can hook your grounds all up at the top. It's completely separate from the bottom. And
I hope so.
well, you can connect the two if you like fireworks.
Yeah.
Yeah, you would have sold it 4th of July.
So, yeah, I'd have to test it though. I'd have to short one out to see what would happen, whether the fuse would go first or the thing would melt. But other than that, for $9, that's
Well, the fuse, if you got the right fuse in there, you'll be fine.
yeah.
I mean, that's even if my radios have an inline fuse, I'm leaving the inline fuse.
Oh yeah, definitely.
I'm leaving the factory fuse the way it was, and then I'm going to fuse it again. Everything's coming off of this separately. Every radio, every light bank, everything I have here that's 12 volt. I even have 3 wires with the barrel plugs on the end, different ones that plug into like my tuners and different things in my analyzer and different things like that. And I'm hooking those up to it as well, and they're going to just be here on the console. So I have power, all different kinds of plugs and power available to me. So and you know, go ahead.
How does the negative side work? Because you've got 12.
Okay, there's
individual connections, but the negative
that up there
side
is just the negative side is just a common bus. It's all connected together. So you can have multiple wires under one screw because it's all just one common bus.
Yeah, that's what I figured. But is there room to get them? You know, if you put ring.
Well, there's still there's like a step back there. Let me see if I can.
Oh, I can see it. Yeah, I'm with you.
See
yeah,
how
so one's higher than the other. I'm with it.
Right.
I'm with
So
it.
you can get there's the same number of screws even. So you can get everything on its own screw if you wanted to, but it doesn't matter because that's just all connected up there.
That's cool. And it's got mounting screws and everything. I like that.
I'm happy with it. I'll tell you what, like I said, I took delivery of it and I'm very happy with it. And I'm gonna hook it up probably tomorrow. I got to get this stuff going. I want to show you.
That would be a good Ian challenge. Find
What's
something
that?
once a month. Find something really good for less than $10 on Amazon.
No, I'm going to try to do it every week. I've got all kinds. I have bought so many cool things off of Amazon that I know that I'll be able to show you guys one or two a week. So I'm going to add that segment for a while. And if it goes away for a few weeks and comes back, that might happen. But I'm going to get it going because I like it. This is what I bought this week. Look at that. And no, this is not a sexual thing.
Not a sex toy?
No, it's not a sex toy.
That would be a really
wow.
It does vibrate. But what I like about this is this is a 3-inch hole saw. Look at that thing.
Yeah.
Oh my God.
Is it a wooden dud, is it?
I can't keep it away from my wife. But anyway, this thing, I've been drilling these big ass holes in my desk and I'm running all of the power. I have 7 computers in here, 19 screens, 7 radios. When you get down to it, I have a lot of stuff, 2 battery backup boxes. Everything's either into those or into switches. I have wall mounted switches that control all of the buses that go, all of the power strips that go along. Anyway, long story short, all my power now is going to go out of the back of whatever it's connected to, down a hole and down underneath the console, all the way down to the floor. What few wall moles I'm going to have left are all going to be down on the floor. Most of them are being removed. They're being eliminated because I'm going to voltage right into whatever it is. But all my power is going to be down at the bottom. Then right underneath the console, there's a wire chase I've got already under there. That's going to be for all the networking cables and everything else. That I have that exact same bus bar, that exact same plug bar. Say something so your screen comes up.
Oh, right. Sorry. There you go. I bought this for $30 at the swap at the Hamfest.
Yep.
And it's
Is that a Heath kit?
No, this is a triple light.
Trip light. Okay. I think mine is a trip light. And it has the little plastic cover over the switch, doesn't it?
Just there.
That's the same exact one I have, dude.
Yeah,
Right. $30.
Yeah, let me tell you what.
And it's got a reset button here on the end.
Yep. That's the same. I've got that one back here right now on top of the desk. And then let me show you this one I got. This one here, I bought at a flea market in Murphy, North Carolina. And look at this thing. I got it for $5.
Yeah.
It's got 12 plugs on it.
Yeah, I got one of those.
Wow.
That's Heath kit.
And this one is actually made. This is mainly why I bought it. It's made by the Heath Company. I was so like, I gotta have that.
Yeah,
So
in the back of my cabinet.
So I'm happy with this. The neat thing about this, which I don't need the feature right now, but it's really cool because the first 10 plugs are switched, the last 2 unswitched, which I thought was kind of unique.
Yeah. The only problem with those is when you try to plug wall warts in,
Yeah.
You know, they're too close together.
Yeah, I'm trying hard to eliminate all those.
Me too. Well, what I do with my wall warts is when I switch my shack off, I switch the wall warts on.
Mhm.
So all
Yeah.
my charging things, like that new rig expert I just got, it's got 3 rechargeables in it.
This
Yeah,
is how I
yeah.
eliminate that problem.
Yeah,
You can
that's a
get
good
me-
idea.
Speaking
Yeah.
about this is a short 3-conductor cord, and you plug your wall wart into that, and that
Yeah.
gets rid of that issue. I've got several of these. I bought these on Amazon here, 2-3 years ago. But this is a charger for one of my lead acid gel cell batteries. But
Yeah.
this is how I got around that problem, because that drives you up the wall trying to get things connected up. So that gets around that issue.
I got the same as that. I bought at Home Depot, but it's like a fan, and it's got 3 sockets on it.
Yeah.
It's got three outlets on it, but it's
Yeah.
the same short, but they're really well apart, and that's what I use. But that was about 20. It was expensive, you know.
I want to show you a website which is kind of which might be another place to go and buy stuff. You may know about this place, I don't know, but I wanted to show it to you anyway. You see that? Marlon P. Jones and Associates. They're over across the state over in West Palm Beach. And I bought a bunch of stuff from them. I discovered them at the Orlando Hamfest a couple of years ago when they were still having Hamfest BC before COVID. But anyway, they got all kinds of good stuff in here, a lot of surplus things. So it's just another place you can go and look for stuff, boxes, enclosures, power supplies, all kinds of stuff. But just another place you can go look, mpja.com.
Okay.
I saw 2 different things on there. The prices didn't seem too bad on.
Yeah.
That's pretty cool.
Yeah, and you can get them. They'll send you a catalog and all that kind of stuff. Let me see if there's anything. You got connectors.
Wow, there's a scope there for $20.
Yeah. Oh yeah.
Was it?
Where is
Yeah.
that?
No, $40. I guess
Yeah,
200
you-
kilohertz. You could use that for audio though. Yeah.
Yeah.
200K is not much.
So, yeah, $39.95. That's not too bad. But you got
If I can get a defibrillator for $100, we'll be all set.
Yeah, there you go. But you got all kinds of LEDs. Let's see, LED display, LCD displays, all kinds of fun stuff.
Neat.
Yep.
Yeah. Oh, I would
There's
definitely.
another one I've got somewhere else. I don't remember what I did with it, but I wanted to show that to you anyway. mpja.com.
There you go.
Got it written down.
And I was just going to show you real quick. I've had this. Can you guys see this? I've had this for like 30 years. The cord wraps around it. They don't make them like this anymore. Notice on one side, there's 3 spots for wall warts.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
Oh, that's nice.
Yeah.
I have had that for like 30 years. I swear to you, I had that in my condo when I lived out in Bay Point like 30 years ago. That was my computer and everything was hooked up to it back then. So it even has my name written on the back from all the years when we were doing events up at the fire station, and I'd bring it up and we'd use it. And I'd bring it back home again. But anyway, yeah, I tell you, power is something else. 12 volts going to be fun. I want to get all of my stuff wired this weekend. I don't have it in here. It's out in my van, unfortunately, but I bought a strip of metal that is 1 inch and 3/8 wide. So it's 1 inch and 3/8 wide. It's thick metal and it's got holes all the way down at 1 inch apart. You guys have seen this. They've got it at Home Depot. And I bought a 4-foot piece of this. And what I'm going to do is I got kind of inspired by those. We saw those systems where that hold the radios.
Top mouse.
I don't know if I can find one real quick, but I was looking for now. Anyway, I'm looking for, something to hold my radios. I want a stack of radios. I've got my FT100, my M2500, my FT2500. I've got this other one that I'm getting ready to buy that I don't even know the number on yet. I've got all these radios and I want to mount them on a rack so that they're right here at my right hand. But here's the thing. I don't want to stack them on. I used to have them like stacked on top of each other with rubber pads between them. I'm beyond that now. They need to be mounted into a rack and they need to be stable into a rack. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to take that rack that I bought. Okay, it's 4 foot long, and I'm going to take the widest radio and I'm going to bend the sides up, and then I'm just going to screw the bottom of it into the desk. And now I'm going to have 2 pieces of metal just sticking up like this. It's the width of the widest radio, which is the FT100. And then I'm going to put the FT100 in on bottom and screw it in. And now I've got a stable rack and I can put all my radios right in it. It's nothing that I had to buy. This thing cost like $3-4. And I just need washers because the holes are kind of big for some of my radio screws. But got all that here. So I'm going to actually put that in tomorrow. I'm looking forward to it. And I'm going to have 1 inch and a half, an inch of separation between each radio. And then I've got my, dryer hose. Oh, that feels good. I got my dryer hose with my air conditioning coming out at 48 degrees or whatever. And that is going to go right into the back of that thing, right on the FT100 so that it stays cool. And it's all going to be right here.
It's coming out of your radio with that stuff.
Look, that FT100 is a great radio. I've made about 12,000 contacts on that radio.
Yeah.
Mostly FT8, of course, but I've probably made about 600 voice contacts on single sideband, and I'm protecting that finals in there. They're a ceramic enclosed final that's in there, and I'm very concerned because I cannot get that chip right now. So I am anal about it. Like I have my timeout thing. I have the timeout timer on the radio set to 1 minute. I have the FT8 timeout set for 2 or 3 cycles. And I've got everything because I don't want to use it any more than I need to. And I normally run it at about 60 watts. That's about what I run it at with this new hex beam.
That's plenty of power.
Plenty of power.
I do a lot of stuff on CW with the hex beam at 5 watts.
Yeah.
So.
Well, at 5 watts, it'll sit there and I'll work all day and not get any contacts. I gotta split the difference.
Yeah.
And I find that if it's good out there, the difference between 60 and barefoot at 100 is not that big a deal.
No.
When it's crap out there, though, I sometimes have to go up to 80 or 90 just to get people to talk back to me. So it is what it is. And of course, with the hex beam now, I go out and turn it. I've got the Armstrong method, but once I get it up on my big tower up here, I'll be able to just turn it with my remote right here, and I'll be able to tune in things that way, and that will help quite a bit too. So I'm looking forward to that. The other thing I'm doing in the shack is I used to have keyboards and everything all just stacked up, and the radios were pulled out because all the wires and all the adapters and all the plugs and all the BS was all, the wires were this thick running all behind all of my stuff in here. It was terrible. It was obviously done by Chef Boyardee himself. And so I ripping it all out. You know what I did? I ordered 3 keyboard pull-out trays that'll be here in a few days. And
wireless keyboard. You see
the wires on it? No, I like the wireless, but I don't need the wireless because where my stuff's all going to be, I've got the wires right there. Everything's cool.
Yeah.
I'm going to have 3 pull-out drawers with the 3 main keyboards. I'm also looking at buying a switch that I can put. I'm looking at some different ideas for these 2 or 3 computers over here, where I'm probably going to end up using mouses without borders. I don't know if you guys have ever used that program. It's made by Microsoft Garage. It's called Mouses Without Borders. I'm surprised you guys haven't heard of this. It's a great little program. You install it into 2 different computers, You pull up the screen on each one and you authorize by putting the password into one from the other. You authorize them to work together. And then when you click it and turn it on, your mouse and your keyboard work across all the screens on both computers. And you actually tell it where all the screens are in relation to the other screens. And unfortunately, I've reached a point over here where I can't use it anymore because I've got 5 screens on the one computer and 4 on the other, and it's too much. It can't handle that. It ends up getting all funky.
Yeah.
But over here, I got 3 computers, each have 1 screen apiece, and that's my Broadcastify computers and my streaming computers and stuff. I'm thinking about putting that on there and eliminating 2 mouses and 2 keyboards. So eventually, my goal is to have all the keyboards under the desk. The other thing is all the radios are going on top of the desk now. My big ICOM, my Kenwood tuner, my Kenwood receiver, and my my big tuner and all that, rotor tuner and all that is all going to go in a long row along the desk, pushed all the way back so that there's plenty of room between the edge of the desk and the radios now. I'm going to have all this room, and with the keyboards underneath, it's going to be clean in here. It's going to be nice. I could demonstrate something on the table in front of me if I wanted to. So that's kind of where I'm at with this. I'm trying to redo this entire shack to where it's a functional room that when I walk in, I'm going to hit 2 buttons over here and everything will power up and it's going to be ready to go, because I want it to be ready so when storms come, and they start issuing severe thunderstorm warnings or tornado warnings, I want to be able to come out here, flip 2 switches, and go right on to the WatchNet and just, go be on the air, and be able to monitor things and be able to make communication connections for people and things like that. I'm in the process right now also of working on getting my generator installed. I'm going to take my old 500K. It's a 500 watt generator, 5,000 watt generator. And I won a 3,500 from the club, from FMARC. Remember I won that one?
Yeah.
They
you
were giving
won
away. It's the only thing I've ever won in my life. And it's funny because it was 3 days after I told him I was leaving the club that I won the generator, which I thought was very, very strange, but whatever. It was kind of like a kick in something, but I didn't do the kicking, so I guess it's okay. But anyway, that generator is great, except it won't run everything I need to run. So I'm going to take my older 5,000, which I've had for about 15 years. It's in great shape. And I'm going to hook it up to where it's ready to go. I just got to pull it, starts, runs. And then I just have to go over to my box out here, flip off the main, go around, open the side box, and flip on the generator connection, and I'm all set to go. And then that 3,500 is just my backup, I guess. I haven't taken it out of the box. There's no sense in taking it out of the box.
You could use it to run the refrigerators inside and use the other one in the shack.
Well, my 5,000, the way it hooks up to the box outside. My 5,000 powers the house and the shed, and it'll power the 2 small air conditioners on one leg and my big air conditioner on the other leg. We don't use our central. It went out, and it's $6,000 or $7,000 for a new central air, and I can't afford it. So we went with air conditioners and in the rooms, and I'll tell you what, we saved a lot of money. They tell you that these room air conditioners that you put in the windows get worse gas mileage. Not my experience exactly, because now we cool the rooms we're in down to the temperatures we want. And the rooms we're not in, we allow them to go up to 80 degrees because we're not using that room. That saves power because I'm not keeping the entire house at 73 degrees.
Yeah.
Because I need it at 73 degrees. That's my temperature. And my wife likes 74 or so, but she's close. So if I run my entire house at 73 degrees, it costs me $300 a month in the summertime just for the air conditioning. By running room air, and during the day when my son-in-law's at work, he turns his room up to 80. We put ours on economy. We moved this, we've changed things around. And I can save a lot of money that way. So that's kind of where we're at right now with that. It's kind of a weird thing. My shack has a little window unit that I bought 2 years ago. It's done a great little job for me in here. It's kept me cool, and it still sounds good. I'm hoping to get another year out of it. So they've come a long way with these window units. They get good gas mileage now, and they're light, they're easy to install, and they're cheap to buy. I think they're still, the little ones are still about $150.
Yeah.
And we get the cheap ones down here because we don't need the ones with heat in them.
Yeah.
I don't bother with that. I got a little space heater if I need
Florida.
it. Yeah. I have one of those little electric safe heaters with the button on the bottom, you know, and you sit it there. And we run that about two nights a year, just to take the chill off in the morning. But anyway, all right.
With
So
all those
anything
radios
else?
and everything, you could use a custom vent system to take all the heat from under your desk and behind your radios and pipe that into the house to heat it up during the winter.
You're absolutely right. If we had some kind of one of those split systems where it can take heat from one room and use it in another. What I do, Joseph, and you're gonna laugh, on really cold mornings, I come out here and fire everything up, and then I go back in the house for an hour and have a cup of coffee. And then when I come back out here an hour later, it's warmed up to 73 degrees out here.
Nice.
Yeah, all I got to do is just turn on the 19 screens and all the computers.
Oh,
It's
yeah.
already usually not too bad because there's 3 computers that stay on all night. So there's always a little bit of heat being generated out here. But
Yeah, those monitors will do the heat pretty good.
yeah, I don't leave any monitors on. My monitors all, they all go off with the switches, every single one of them. But there's 3 computers that are hooked up to that one UPS, the one you got. That stays, those 3 computers stay on all night. And then the 2 security systems up here stay on all night. But other than that, everything else goes off. All right, does anybody have anything else? I'm trying to think what else we might have tonight. Let me go back over here again. No, that's all I had over here.
We
All right,
do the best.
I do want to ask you guys to do me a favor and connect, try to get into as many nets as you can each week. The simplex net on Thursday nights right before the watch net, you can make 2 nets right there in about 35 minutes. And those are 2 good nets, lots of great guys on there. And also I wanted to mention the 2 nets on Friday night, or I'm sorry, on Sunday night. Once the season gets better, we actually have a 10-meter net on Sunday nights at 9 o'clock called the windmill net.
Yeah.
And that net, back when the solar cycle was at its peak last time, that net used to get check-ins from all over the place. They used to get all kinds of check-ins.
Yeah, we had stuff from all over the place last week. I'm trying to remember where all, but there was some fairly decent DX on there this past week.
Yep. Yeah, during the day. The problem is this is 9 o'clock at night, so it really has to be good. I almost wish sometimes it was like a 40-meter net, because then we would get check-ins from all over the world. But Charles says that net does get a lot of traffic on when the conditions are really good, and 10 stays open till 9 o'clock at night. So I'm looking forward to that. And then also the Sanibel net, 7:30 loggerhead net on Sunday nights too. All right. Does anybody have anything else? Any problems you're having that we can help you with, or anything else we can talk about?
I don't really have anything.
Well, I'm worn out and not looking for anything else, so it's fine with me. I am tired. It's been a long week between, and I'll tell you guys, not that it's a sob story, but I'll give it to you. We had a mama kitty come in about 4 weeks ago, 3.5 weeks ago. She came in our house and we started feeding her about a month earlier, but she wouldn't let any of us touch her. All of a sudden she became really friendly, and she looked like she lost a lot of weight. Well, she had 3 babies in our house. So we have been caring for these 3 kittens. We lost one a little while ago. He didn't make it. He died.
Oh, that
And
one that was the brown one? Wasn't that
brown
the
one. We lost the
Yeah.
brown one about 5 hours ago. We just buried him before the show.
Oh.
He was only 4 weeks old, but he was our little baby. We were already taking care of him. His two siblings are doing fine and the mama's doing fine. So I don't think we're going to lose anymore. He was the sick one. There's always a runt. These cats are all inbred neighborhood cats as it is. So
Yeah.
we're lucky to have it. We have. This cat wasn't ours, came walking in, but it's ours now. We've taken it in, and she's just an amazing little mama kitty. So, and she went from being feral to like literally sleeping with us and being our best friend now, and just she loves people. So I got that going on this week. I got all this going on with the cat.
Yeah.
Trey and I are reading another audiobook. You guys know about that.
Yeah.
Not going to get any specifics, but we're doing another whole audiobook that I'm right in the middle of. Plus, I got 3 weekend show clients that are all producing shows every week. Plus, I'm right in the middle of remodeling my entire ham shack. I've been off FT8 now for 8 days, and I'm starting to get the shakes. In the morning, I'm starting to get uncontrollable shaking, and I get like dry heaves, and it's really bad. So I've got to get back on FT8.
Wow, that's bad.
It's withdrawals, Rick. I got withdrawals from FT8. It's really bad.
That's big.
Yeah, if I go 10 days without FT8, I start passing out. I can't drive. So we'll see how it goes.
I'll tell you
Oh, is
something.
this what I got looking forward to?
Well, the good news is I'm going to hook it back up tomorrow. I don't care what it takes. I got to get it going. I'm starting to. I look at my logbook and I cry. I'm like, I haven't had a contact in 8 days.
Well, you've been missing out on 6 meters. 6 meters.
I know.
Working every day this week. Some of it's not been fantastic. I don't know if I told you guys. Did I tell you about my 6 meter adventure? You know, the night we were on, I guess it was 3 weeks ago. And I said to you, look, the 6 meters. And I said, which band do you think this was? And I remember Joseph said he thought it was 20 meters and it was 6 meters.
Yeah, I remember that. Yep.
The following Saturday morning, it was almost lunchtime. So it was, brand spanking morning in the far east or something like that. I actually worked Fiji on 6 meters.
Nice.
It's tough trying to work Fiji on any band, but 6 meters. So I was so chuffed. I thought, that's just really good. So I emailed the guy and I said to him, thanks for the contact. We're in 180 watts up into a hamstick dipole in the attic. I live in an HOA, told him my radio and stuff like that. And he wrote me back, oh, great. I'm glad, I'm running 400 watts to an 8-element 6 meter beam at 30 meters.
He was doing all the hard work.
He was doing all the work. And I said, but he said, you've been the best contact I've had this year into the US because he's in Florida, and he said it was really good. So he said to write to the guy at the AARL, in the QSC magazine, the guy who does the 6 meter report. He said, write to him and tell him about our contact.
Oh,
what's this? Lollipops?
Yes.
Ice cream lollipops.
Yeah, I'm not.
Man, every time I see you, you're eating.
Professional radio guys don't eat lollipops.
I do. Hey, Dave. A few months back, you logged a contact with me on QRZ, and I wanted to confirm it from my logbook, but I have no idea what time the contact actually occurred at. And so when I try and do the confirmation, it says you must be within 30 minutes of the contact. You can't just put a random time in there. So I don't know if you could look at what your QRZ says and tell me what the time is so I can actually confirm it.
Just hold on 1 second.
Yeah, because it takes a while to go through all 24 hours twice.
No, what you do is you just, I see what you mean. No, what I'm going to do is home, logbook. Let's just search for your call sign because I've only worked you on. It's KM4 OVZ, isn't it? OVC. Search. I think we did it on 40 meters, if I remember. I do remember 40 meters. It was 220423. at
Hold on, let me write that.
0102.
How do I make a new note? Oh, it's covering. Okay, so the frequency was 21.
The frequency was 7.075 because we did it on
Oh.
FT8.
Yeah, okay.
And we drifted up the bank a little bit, 657 miles, Alabama. And yeah, it was 0102.
That's the time?
It's actually 2 o'clock. That's the time. 2 minutes
That's
after
like
1 in
Central.
the
That's like,
morning. Oh, that's UTC.
That's UTC, yeah.
Yeah.
Okay, thank you. Now I can confirm it, hopefully.
Wow, I didn't realize your name was as famous a very famous British footballer who's only just passed on.
Oh, wow.
Jimmy, your last name, Jimmy.
What?
Google him. He was a famous footballer.
Oh, that's interesting.
Yeah.
Not a very common last name, I don't think.
No, he was very famous. I'm going to Google him now and tell you all about him.
Well, while
Wow,
he's doing
we'll
that,
look at
I'll show you guys my new promo flyer I'm putting together. Look at that. Look at all the places our show is seen. Isn't that
Wow,
amazing?
that kid. Wow, we even entertaining that little kid. Wow.
Yeah. And down there in the corner, notice we're in a big stadium there. That's pretty cool.
Wow, we were really
So,
popular.
yeah, I just thought I'd show you guys all the new places that you might see your face.
That's pretty cool. I like that.
There you go. Google him.
I did.
So
Oh,
he died.
really
He
neat.
died on September the 19th, 2021.
Okay.
Very famous English footballer. That's soccer to you guys, of course. Played for Chelsea.
Yeah, why do y'all call it? Why do y'all call it a different thing? Football and soccer. We have our own soccer here.
Yeah, but
Why do they call anything what they call it? Why do they call it a bumper shoot?
Well, because football, you kick it with your foot.
No, you don't.
Yeah, you do.
Uh-uh.
It's called football in every other country in the whole world, bar here.
Yeah, it does make more sense.
And you guys have learned. You should have learned by now from the metric system. We're not backing down.
That I know. Yeah, you're just backwards. Now here's a good one.
And you drive on the wrong side of the road too.
Yeah, you do.
Yeah.
You drive on the wrong side of the car too.
So does most of the rest of the world.
That doesn't mean they're all right.
Well, it does.
People are see, look, people are right-handed and left-handed. That's one constant in the humanity is that most people are right-handed. So,
but you know why you and it's got something to do with the right and the left. Do you know why you guys drive on the side of the road you do?
Why?
Because when there was the Wells Fargo wagons, and they used to have the guy who ran shotgun, most of the shotgun shooters were right-handed. So if they had the sweep, they swept like 3/4 of the area to shoot with their gun, rather than going quarter of the way across the actual driver of the carriage.
Wow.
Yeah. Sounds like a perfectly good reason to me.
Yeah.
And y'all didn't have something similar?
Next time I go to the bank, I'll just have to tell them that.
Yeah, that's it. Yeah.
I mean, you're either on the right side or you're on the wrong side. That's the way I see it. But you know.
Yeah, but talking about banks, I mean, you imagine
you're right on.
4 years ago, if you walked into a bank, wearing a mask, you'd be lucky to get out without being shot. And now they welcome you in.
I thought about walking in a bank with a mask on and just walking up to the lady and saying, "Give me my money."
Yeah.
Here's my withdrawal slip.
Well,
I just always wanted to walk in a bank with a mask on and say, "Give me the money."
Yeah, I did it with mine just because I was thinking, it actually says outside they require masks. Well, not now, but back.
And that's over the top of the one that says Florida law says that you cannot obscure your face if you're walking into a federal bank.
Yeah. Yeah, you were.
Don't you love how it works? This is a big deal until this is a bigger deal.
That's right. Yeah, you weren't allowed to wear dark glasses, were you, at one point?
Yep. As a matter of fact, if you put a mask on to commit a crime in the state of Florida, that's a separate crime. And
Concealing
so,
identity.
yeah, and obstruction by disguise. And so
Oh, wow.
so technically, if you have a COVID mask on while you commit the crime, you're okay. But if it can be proven in court that you donned the mask specifically during the crime to commit the crime in anonymity, then they would be able to prove that and you'd get a separate charge for that.
So the moral of the story, if you're going to go rob the bank, by golly, you better put your mask on as you're leaving your home and
Yeah,
keep it on.
and wear it everywhere so that you can prove to the jury that you wear it all the time. Anyway.
Well, that's easy.
Yeah.
Just rob 3 banks at the same day.
There you go.
So, job done.
I'll never understand robbing banks. They catch 93% or something at bank robbers. Nobody likes those odds.
I guess they liked Bonnie and Clyde. I don't know.
Oh, I'll never understand it.
But
All right.
you
Is
know,
there
I like
anything
it.
else? Anything else tech related? Anything else tech related before I clear the YouTube channel off?
I don't think
All right.
so. I think we covered
For everybody else on there on YouTube, we're going to be letting you go now, and we'll be ending here shortly. Everybody have a good one out there. This is the Southwest Florida TechNet. My name is Ian, KO4EFS, and we'll see you guys next week here on YouTube, or feel free to join us on the Zoom meeting by going to swfltech.net and clicking the red Zoom button.